including Oliver, who is noticeably older and finally not wearing that fuck-ass outfit.
That nigga look like a freaking dork. Look at this ugly, bit-ass, lame-ass, goofy-ass nigga, bro.
Dad didn't have a chance in fighting him, so he asks what chance he has, which is responded to by fucking Thrag, what? Stating that for obvious...
Holy aura. Oh my goodness, he might be the greatest ore farmer of all time. Oh, this nigga said he has me. Lineup on point, physique on 10, fit looking immaculate. This might be the greatest ore farm of all time. What? You have nearly a dozen human women spread all over the globe who are currently impregnated with your offspring. I know, Great Region Thrag. I know, and I love them all. Yeah, this nigga moving like Future, bro.
He trusts him to take it to his grave. Meanwhile, Eve starts to glow and arise from the floor as her body's override has activated once more, repairing her body before firing off a large beam of energy at Conquest, frying his front side. Invincible capitalizes on the moment, attempting to beat him further into the ground, though Conquest grabs his unbroken hand and promptly breaks it. Not ready to tap out, Mark starts bashing in his head repeatedly, beating Conquest to a pulp.
This part was great. Bro, what's y'all favorite fight in Invincible, bro? I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna take a lot to surpass this one. This one felt like a top tier anime episode when it dropped. If you were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about, bro. This episode was so elite. Oh my goodness, so elite. Like it's one of them ones, truly one of them ones. Omni-Man versus Immortal, really? Versus Immortal. I don't even know how high I'd rank that fight. I wouldn't think I'd put it that high. Maybe it's been a while since I've seen it. And Omni-Man versus Invincible is one I did not expect to read. Invincible versus Thrag fight on the Sun. I actually don't know about that one yet. We go find out in this video right here. Mark versus Conquest or Mark versus Omni-Man. That's also an elite fight as well. Let's see this.
For now, the fighting is over, as Conquest is clearly in no state to fight. Mark drags himself over to Eve, who is laying on the floor peacefully, though she should probably be wearing just a little bit more clothing. The two end up in the hospital, with Mark grateful that Eve is alive. The couple seems to be doing well in spite of the terrible circumstances, but when Cecil enters, Mark demands to see Conquest's body to ensure that he is dead, though his concerns seem to be calmed when his request is fulfilled. They hold a funeral for Rex, in which Robot decides to carry on Rex's legacy, adopting his name for himself. That very same day, Mark and Eve are getting freaky, but during the process of using her powers for the purpose of freaking, we learn that Eve's powers are on the fritz as a result of her reconstructing her body during her death. Meanwhile, Levy reconvenes with his doctors, who essentially...
Yo, imagine you cracking, and then you crack so much, you like lose your powers. Will you be reacting to the new Invincible episodes every week like JJK? Yes, I will. The only sad thing is that I will be gone on vacation for most of April. So like there's gonna be like 2 to 3 weeks where I will not be able to react. I'd have to come back and binge the rest. So there's gonna be like a little gap in between where I'm not gonna be able to watch, but I will be on Invincible the same way I have been with JJK. And I think Invincible's in 2 days, no? It starts the 18th, if I'm not wrong.
State that they will begin cashing in on his debt. The Sequids are also biding their times in the sewers to increase their numbers because of course they are. It's revealed here that Cecil lied about Conquest's death, as he is recovering, encased in a massive block of tempered steel, which
gotta be, again, this gotta be the stupidest thing I've ever seen a self-proclaimed smart character do. Dude, why? Y'all barely survived against Conquest, and you really think a bunch of metal bars are gonna contain the nigga? Again, you barely survived the conflict. Barely survived the conflict. Cecil, like, I understand, like, I was actually on Cecil's side for most of season 3. This right here, damn near, like, wipes every good action he did. I had to go that far. It's like, y'all saying worst decision of all time, I would say so as well. Gotta be. I don't think there's anything that we're gonna see in the rest of this video that's gonna be as stupid as this. I'd be shocked. I would be so shocked. This is this is a cataclysmic event. They barely survived with the 3 strongest people on the planet. You had Invincible, Oliver, and Eve fighting for their life, and you barely won. Barely won. Like, all 3 of them couldn't even walk at the end. Barely won. And you think a bunch of metal bars and bringing them back is gonna, like, do anything. You're slow. You're fried. You got no brain cells, bro. Out here moving like Rakai, my nigga. Like, damn.
Surely will not go wrong. In the hospital,
Complete
and
bot.
in spite of his previous hesitance to do so, Mark declares that he will not hesitate to kill anybody who poses a threat to his family or those he loves. It's also here that we get a show-exclusive scene with Darkblood, who's plotting to return his master to power through the use of a, quote, surface dweller with a darkened heart and power that has not been seen in eons. I've got a couple ideas who this surface dweller could be, but nothing's really confirmed, as Darkblood literally isn't in the comics after he gets sent back to hell. So we're both in for a surprise next season. But this marks the end of season.
So that's new. This is show exclusive content. I hear that the creator of the show, it's like something Kirkman. Like he wanted to add some new stuff, and like he's using the show as like a rewrite. I didn't know this was new though. That's very interesting.
In the comics after he gets sent back to hell. So we're both in for a surprise next season. But this marks the end of season 3 and is currently where the show is caught up to as of the writing of this video. This is also the part where I have to say goodbye to our show-only viewers, as we will now be heading into dangerous spoiler territory. I've got to say though, I'd absolutely recommend giving the comics a read, as they really are great in my opinion. And I think it'll be interesting to see how differently the show handles the plot points and themes when these sort of things get animated. Also, just a heads up, the Invincible fandom is currently going band for band with the JJK fandom to see who can spoil their shit the most for the show onlys. So please be careful if you don't plan on reading it.
This is true. To be fair, I actually think Invincible is better with spoilers than JJK. Like, I actually don't know. Like, a lot of the stuff that I know about JJK, about Invincible, outside of Anissa, I went out my way to find out. Like, Invincible, they're actually much better in terms of holding spoilers. JJK, the moment something happened, you were seeing it everywhere. Like, it was literally impossible to not know. Like, if you were on TikTok at that time, like end of 2023, yo, like when Gojo versus Sukuna was coming out, the exact millisecond the leaks were out, you were seeing edits on your timeline. You were seeing tweets all over Twitter. It was insane. It was actually like, I think JJK is 10 million times worse than anything the Invincible fan base has caught up. Because again, the only thing I got spoiled on is Anissa, because everybody be weird about Anissa. But literally, besides Anissa, that's the only thing that I got spoiled on, unwillingly. And I know Thrag fights Battle Beast, but literally besides that, like if it's, you kind of got to go out your way for Invincible. Like JJK, like they had leaks trending, bro. Like you would see chapter leaks with no warning have like 600k plus likes on TikTok. And there's not, what are you going to do about it? You literally scroll, you know, the TikTok For You page. You have no warning. You scroll down, boom, spoiler right there. That's how I got spoiled about Gojo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, crazy.
Anyways, I'm gonna get back to it now, so if you're heading out, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And we're back to the video. Now it's time to catch up with Nolan and Alan. Nolan gives Alan a crash course in Viltromite lore and informs him of the Viltramite's intent to use Earth as a breeding camp, which recontextualizes Conquest's previous monologue about taking Earth no matter what. Nolan tells Alan that they need to go to the coalition of planets immediately, so Alan gathers his things and the two depart for Telescria. Upon arriving and being caught up, Thetis tasks Nolan and Alan with collecting the weapons he listed in his books, intending on keeping them secret from a potential mole in their system. They locate the asteroid that Nolan had previously abandoned Space Racer on with the intent of him dying. Except Space Racer is one hard bastard to kill, so they have him accompany them to Telescria in an attempt to recruit him for the cause, which seemingly goes well in spite of the confrontation they have. In between missions, Nolan crashes at Alan's place, which is just a little funny. They attempt to capture some Ragnars who
Yeah, this is a scene where he, like, Alan just keeps cracking his girl every 2 seconds. Is this right? Is this right here, right? Yo, I'd be sick. I would be so sick. Imagine you with your roomie. They don't care at all. They just keep cracking, keep cracking, keep cracking. But I'd be sick to my stomach, bro.
Nolan crashes at Alan's place, which is just a little funny.
Do you want them to leave the Anissa stuff out of the show? From what I know about it, I low-key would. Like, bro, does she literally GRAPEs Mark and then names the child that she has with Mark after Mark? Like, that's, I don't know, that's so distasteful. I think they're probably gonna remove it. I'd be like, if they didn't, fair, but I think they're either gonna A, remove it, or they're gonna B, change it up like crazy. Like, the scene might still happen, but she might not get a kid out of it. Like, the kid is the crazy part. The kid, to me, is the insane part.
To capture some Ragnars who had previously been frozen, but the mission goes wrong, so they just keep it in mind for later, deciding to check some more things off of the list. Some successful and some not so much, with the next thing on the list being the recruitment of Tech Jacket. However, before they depart, Thaddeus reveals that the Scourge virus that squad wiped the Viltramites was actually based off a template of his own DNA, and that they are currently working on an enhanced version of it in case all is lost.
Damn.
Back on the Earth in the wake of Invincible War and Conquest, Mark is helping with the repair efforts when suddenly the best character in all of fiction, Dinosaurus,
Yeah, this go right here. Yeah, we just saw this clip. That is so insane. This is right after, bro. I just want to understand this timeline, right? So, Mark just survives the war against the other Invincibles, right? The entire planet is destroyed. The first day Mark tries to fix up the planet after that Invincible War, Conquest shows up. He fights Conquest, gets beat up again. The entire planet's even worse off. He comes back to fix the rubble after Conquest.
With the repair
This
efforts,
nigga shows up. Bro! Bruh. Niggas were really mad at me too when I said Invincible was the worst superhero universe ever. Who got it worse than that? Who got... You went to two cataclysmic planetary events back to back. And then every time you try to fix it, a new villain shows up. Like, you're literally... Like, it's not even like, oh, you fix the rubble and like a week later. No, you are literally in the midst of rebuilding and a villain attacks you. This is the second time it happened. Bro, no breaks. No, literally zero breaks. And again, look at the comments of this video. Everyone's like, oh, but Warhammer 40k. Warhammer 40k. Bro, man, yo, get out of my day, man. Yeah, not living this, bro. Come on.
Fiction, Dinosaurus appears, essentially acting as a dinosaur Ted Kaczynski, but Invincible just mogs him off for the time being, as he has a Jekyll and Hyde Hulk kind of thing going on, reverting back to a human. Invincible almost kills the man, but the Guardians...
I didn't even know he had a human form.
Intervene in a timely manner. Even Mark talk a little bit about their feelings about killing people before we get the actual worst panel in the series. Holy fuck. Mark and Eve get back to doing their free...
I think I heard about that page. Let me first see. All right, so first off, Invincible on that demon timing. If he was about to kill that human, he on demon timing. That's one.
Kills the man, but the Guardians intervene in a timely manner.
Okay.
Even Mark
and then they talk here.
Talk a little bit about their feelings about killing people before we get the...
And then let's read this. Let's read this chat. All right, just going to leave them with the dishes. They like it. Bonding time. Cigar? No thanks. What did you want to talk to me about? I wanted to thank you. I know my little angel is no angel. I caught her one time with that long-haired boy, the one that died. You know she had him living here for a while. We didn't even know. Anyway, I appreciate you giving her a chance, knowing that you are not her first. She never really got just how important virginity is to a woman. Let's keep going. Men like to feel like they're breaking new ground. Nigga, what? They want to be teachers. They want to be in charge. Hard to do if there is no corner left unexplored, right? Betsy was a virgin when we got together. You could tell when you were with a virgin. They just act differently, think differently, less confident. It's attractive. Don't know how I would have married Betsy had things been different. I don't like coming in second or third or whatever the case may be. It's good of you to look past my daughter's obvious flaws. Shows character. I respect that. Of course, it's at the end of the world when a woman knows a thing or two, right? I guess there are positives and negatives. Nigga, what the freak is up with this nigga? Hell nah, bro. Dude, get that nigga locked up, bro. What is this nigga talking? Y'all saying Zeph type dialogue, bro? When has this ever... When has anything adjacent to this ever come out of my mouth? What are y'all niggas talking about right now? Yeah, y'all love trying to fry me for no reason. When has anything adjacent to this ever come out of my mouth? Hell no.
Nah. Worst panel in the series. Holy
yo, bucket.
Fuck. Mark and Eve get back to doing their freelance work, and Oliver's looking a little less purple nowadays.
Word.
God. Oh, and Conquest escapes because
obviously,
of fucking course he does.
Literally.
Also, Eve discovers that she's pregnant, and she's not exactly too happy about it right now. Mark fodderizes.
Oh.
Also, Eve discovers.
Damn. Invincible got no pullout game, bro. That nigga trash. Can't save the world. Can't pull out. What do you do? Genuinely, what does Mark Grayson even do? Every time I slander him, people get mad. But what do? You can't pull out. You can't save the planet. Can't be a good boyfriend. What are you doing, man? What are we doing here?
Discovers that she's pregnant, and she's not exactly too happy about it right now. Mark fodderizes this lady Universa, who is trying to steal all of Earth's power, and gets called in by Cecil of all people, who tells him that the Guardians need his service in Houston, as the Sequids have finally launched their attack. During the fight, Mark gets a little too into...
I'm sorry, I hate the Sequids, bro. Every episode that Sequids pulled up in the show, I'm so sorry, bruh. I was halfway asleep. There was one, I think, in episode 3, if I'm not wrong, or season 2. I can't lie to y'all, bro. I was in there like these, bro. Like, these niggas are boring. I'm sorry. Them Sequid dudes are boring.
To it and catches himself sounding like the bad side of his dad. Though the Guardians are working towards an outcome.
Hold on. Let me say that. What's that speech? You will not enslave this planet.
And catches himself sounding
like
my
planet. God damn. Okay, yo, he tweaking. The Sequids are pure filler. Yeah, they feel like pure filler. They are the definition of filler characters, bro.
Towards an outcome that minimizes casualties. When it comes down to it, Mark kills the final Sequid host, appalling the heroes who witness it, as well as Cecil from abroad. Rex coughs up a final Sequid in the shower and stomps on it, finally ending the Sequids once and for all.
About time.
Fucking God, I don't like them.
Literally.
After a close call where he almost kills Titan, and a talk from Cecil and Eve, he decides that it would be best for him to not kill anymore, as it simply is just too easy. Which I'm gonna go ahead and spoil, by the way. His I have no enemies thing doesn't last a whole long time. However, this declaration ends the blue suit era, giving us a newer version of the classic yellow suit, as well as the arc known as the Viltromite War. We also get the first on-screen appearance of Thrag.
We have read this on stream before. We're gonna reread it.
Conquest to slaughter Mark and his party during their expedition to end the Viltramite rule. We have a couple of tiny issues to take care of first though. The Flaxons are back again for some reason, this time with a hate boner for Nolan. The heroes on Earth make quick work of them once again, and Robot and Monster Girl follow them into their portal, intent on settling things once and for all. Nolan and Alan recruit Tech Jacket at last, and Nolan sees Debbie for the first time since he left Earth, apologizing to Debbie, though it is pretty understandably not accepted for the time being.
I actually have seen a video about this recently. If y'all seen this video, let me pull it up. They might actually change this. Let me show y'all. Invincible, if I could spell. There we go. This video right here, we can even react to it on stream. I already watched it. We could rewatch it. This was very, like, he was spitting, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Right here, he was actually spitting. Can't lie to you, he was spitting this whole time. They will definitely change this, because apparently Omni-Man just gets back together with Debbie. I don't think the show is going to do that. That'd be so crazy for the show to do. In all honesty, that'd be insane for the show to do.
Nolan then recruits Oliver for the cause, and Mark and Eve get freaky one last time before he has to depart, unbeknowingly leaving a pregnant Eve alone. After a
Damn.
Mark and Eve get freaky one last time before he has to depart, unbeknowingly.
Damn, that's tough, bro.
Leaving a pregnant Eve alone. After a bit of time aboard the ship, they are attacked by Conquest and a couple of other Viltramites. The squad makes rather light work of two of their attackers, leaving Mark to deal with Conquest himself after he goes after Oliver. Nailing him down to a nearby planet, Conquest ends up impaling him, though this isn't nearly enough to take down Mark, who chokes the absolute life out of him, refusing to let go, finally ending the brute's life, though it nearly cost him his own. While Mark is recovering, Nolan and Oliver do some bonding, and Alan and Tech Jacket make it to Telescria on schedule, being sent to the front lines of the war effort after the Viltramites struck first. The Coalition is working to make Ragnar's practical in battle, but in the meantime, Battle Beast has agreed to join the war effort for funsies. Mark finally awakens in time for a trio to rejoin the Coalition in Telescria, which is good timing because the Viltramites stage an attack on Telescria with insider knowledge from a mole. Mark and Oliver destroy a Viltramite warship, and Thrag and the Viltramites flee to gather their remaining numbers on Viltram. The mole is caught, but insists that it's already over. However, Thetis decides to stage a counterattack before their forces can be gathered. Insert hard-ass panel here.
Yup. Yo, I can't wait to see this. This gonna be tough. I can't wait to see this animated. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. They venture to the tomb that is Viltram, which I didn't mention before for the sake of any show-onlys who didn't heed my warning, but Viltram's ring is entirely composed of Viltramite corpses, which I think is pretty fucking awesome.
That is so raw. What the freak? Yo, your entire planet has a Saturn ring of Viltramite bodies? That is actually so tough. I can't lie, that is actually one of the hardest concepts I've ever heard in my life. That is actually insanely tough.
Warning, but Viltram's ring is entirely composed of Viltramite corpses, which I think is pretty fucking awesome. The gang moves hard and fast, clearing out Viltramites quickly so they can avoid dealing with getting third party, but tragedy strikes as Mark inadvertently fucks with Thrag, who makes light work of Oliver. Seizing the opportunity though,
Thetis
orders something that is absolutely nuts. They all charge headfirst into the core of the planet, and with the help of a blast from Space Racer, Viltram gets shattered into millions of pieces.
I did actually see this. If y'all seen that Omni-Man versus Bardock death battle, this is how I found out about this feat.
And with the help of a blast from Space Racer, Viltram...
This is such a tough panel too. My goodness, what an incredible panel. What an incredible panel right here. Insane panel. Why were you hating on Oliver in the last Invincible reaction? Oliver is him and a goated younger brother. I don't know about goated. I don't know about good younger brother either. He's a very annoying character. Like, he knows what's good and wrong, except he doesn't like it when Invincible says it. That's what pisses me off. Cause like when he killed the two twins, he knew what he did was wrong. Literally, when he killed the two twins, he said sorry to everybody else. And then once Invincible was like, yo, you can't do that. Now he wanted to defend himself. Bro, you're a bum. I'm sorry. That nigga a bum. He trash. He garbage. Nigga pulled up to Conquest and got freaking flattened out like he Yamcha, bro. He trash.
Gets shattered into millions of pieces. Thrag, understandably enraged by this.
Oh my god. That was Thaddeus? God damn. Yo, I hope they get the same animators they had on the Conquest fight for this. This is going to be so fire.
As well
my
as the
word.
Defeat, tears Thaddeus' head from his body, ending the life of the first defector of Viltram. During the ensuing chaos, Alan and Tech Jacket retreat with the help of Space Racer, while Mark and Nolan attempt to fight Thrag, though it is of no use. Thrag makes light work of the two, but decides to spare.
Holy fraud. I'm so sorry, but holy fraud.
Thrag, though it is.
Holy fraud. Look at this man running. Holy fraud. Bro, you got put in the backshot hair grip position, my nigga? Bro, holy fraud. Gang? Hell nah, bruh. Nigga garbage.
But decides to spare them, as he still considers them Viltramites, and with their numbers being lower than ever, declares that they specifically will be spared above all else. Mark, Nolan, and Oliver are picked up and delivered to Telescria for hospitalization, and though Mark and Nolan make a rather fast recovery, Oliver is in quite frankly horrible condition, but he seems to be making a relatively fast recovery. Alan is also now the leader of the Coalition of Planets. A report from Tech Jacket confirms something odd. The Viltramites have basically entirely vanished from the galaxy, which Alan perceives as good news, but Mark realizes the truth before anyone else does. The Viltramites have gone to Earth. Upon arriving at Earth, there is seemingly no sign of the Viltramites, but Thrag very quickly makes his presence known. Thrag informs the duo that there are exactly 37 Viltramites left alive, with some severely injured. So while there might not be a whole lot left, there's still more than enough to lay waste to Earth, and it would low-key be kind of a valid form of retaliation as the others had destroyed Viltram before. So Thrag offers a truce, seeing that everybody's at a standstill. The Viltramites will live among the people of Earth as unnoticeably as possible, and will not interfere with any human affairs. They will simply be here to live among them and interbreed with humans over the course of thousands of years to restore the Viltramite population. And seeing the writing on the wall, Mark and Nolan agree to harbor the Viltramites.
Wow. That's how Thrag gets it? That's the back door? So he's like, yo, we can destroy you right now if we want, but we're not going to, bro. You either let us live here, let us repopulate, or we're cooking you. Oh my goodness. Wow. Shout out Shadow of Sparta with the prime sub. Instantly got hit with a 3-minute ad. Ain't dealing with all that, bro. Twitch be bugging, bro. That's my bad, y'all. Twitch be bugging. I ain't gonna lie. But that is insane. That is freaking insane. Y'all getting with the y'all getting with a Viltramite shorty? Be honest, bro. Y'all getting with a Viltramite shorty? Y'all let me know. Let me know. Let Goonfire know real quick, bro. What y'all doing, bro?
Affairs. They will simply be here and seeing the writing on the wall. Mark and Nolan agree to harbor the Viltramites. Thrag may be a dictator and a bit of an asshole, but he is a man of his word, swearing that no harm will befall any human by the hand of a Viltramite. Unfortunate as it may be, Thrag got the last line. He finna
crack you in half? Nah, literally. You crack any Viltramite shorty, she crack you in half. I ain't gonna lie. Like, literally, the first bounce on you, you're done. You're done. Your literal back is snapping. I'll be real.
And Mark kind of...
I'll be so real with y'all. Hey. If I was to show you my one though, hear me out though. If I was to show y'all my one, I can fix her. I don't care how old shorty is, bro. I can fix her. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I can fix her. Let's keep going.
sort of lost. It's also worth noting that Mark and Oliver were away from home for about 10 months, as that was the duration of the Viltromite War. So let's see what the people on Earth have been up to. Debbie and Paul seem to have had a bit of a falling out, which is convenient because Nolan's back on Earth for the time being. I kind of wonder how they're gonna do it in the show though, because like Debbie and Paul have a really good relationship.
Literally.
There. Debbie tells Mark to go see Eve, to which he obliges, and Cecil learns at the end of the war from Nolan. Mark makes it to Eve's house, and she's looking a little different these days. A mix of having not used her powers as much and also the stress of having Mark gone. By the way, her looking different isn't a bad thing, just don't be fucking weird. Meanwhile, Cecil calls off the Invincible Reaniman since they won't be needed anymore, and Tech Jacket meets up with his family again, so it seems like it's just a bit of a catch-up period. Oh hey, would you look at that? Nolan and Debbie are back together already. Again, breaking my completely unbiased commentary here, but I honestly really think that this will play out differently, or at least a little slower in the show, as again, I really can't see current Debbie getting back with Nolan. On Telescria, Alan learns of the existence of the Scourge virus from Thetis' will, stating that it's crucial that he must eradicate all Viltram life forever. Pretty dramatic stuff. Mark switches back to his classic
wow, yo, peep that panel too.
Crucial that he must eradicate all Viltram life forever.
Peep that panel too. That nigga's serious. Look at his eye right here. He's serious, bro.
Pretty dramatic stuff. Mark switches back to his classic yellow suit instead of the revamped one, and we get one of many sessions where Robert Kirkman is gooning it to Adam Eve.
Yeah, I know this panel too. Apparently, from my friends that like actually read the whole thing, they said there's a lot of Fat Eve fetish stuff in the comic, bro. You can tell. Hey, Robert Kirkman, I ain't gonna lie, you a torta pounder, bro. You a torta pounder. I can see it. I can see it through the drawing. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it seeping through the page right now, bro. You a torta pounder, bro. It's okay. It's okay. We all been there. Yes, me and you. Yes, you typing in the chat right now. Yes, you watching me point at the camera right now. Me and you have all been there, bro. It's okay. It's okay. We all been some torta pounders back in the day, man. Y'all saying we? Yes, we. No question marks, nigga. We. Yes, me and you. Come on now.
There's a lot of them, but this one's the most like in your face about it. Mark does a little work for his business, Dinosaurus breaks out of prison, and our happy couple meets the Immortal and Kate's kids. But Eve gets emotional and needs to step outside during the evening. After asking what's wrong, we learn that Eve had aborted the baby she was pregnant with before Mark left, as she didn't feel she could properly take care of it.
Hold on.
We learn that Eve had aborted the baby she was pregnant with before Mark left.
I didn't know you can't say that on YouTube. Damn. Wow, that's so tough. Damn, I'm sorry, Eve. Yo, that's tough.
As she didn't feel she could properly take care of a child alone. But Mark is a stand-up guy, so all's well that ends well. When they get back home, they learn of Nolan and Debbie's relationship, as well as the fact that Nolan can't stay on Earth. So the new old couple departs for Telescria together. Mark stops this guy who has cool tech from getting away with bonds he stole, so he lets the guy off with a warning, telling him to just sell his tech instead, since he's trying to pay for a wedding. And Mark jokes a little bit about how much reboots suck, which won't come up later. Later, Dinosaurus is tearing up Las Vegas, and while Invincible is fighting him, he low-key makes a couple of valid points. And though Invincible
wait, so he's only gonna show up because he showed up one time during this whole like first part, and then I'm assuming this season would end at the Viltromite War, so we're not seeing him again till season 5 unless they change stuff, or I'm really exacerbating the timeline. Like maybe if the Viltromite War won't be in the entire season. Dinosaurus is very important. We gonna see.
Up Las Vegas, and while Invincible is fighting him, he low-key makes a couple of valid points. And though Invincible tries to stop his plans of blowing up Las Vegas, he isn't fast enough, with the bombs detonating and turning the entire city into a sheet of glass in the desert. Elsewhere, Powerflex watches the news of the devastation and sets his—
What the freak?
Invincible tries to stop his plans of blowing up Las Vegas, he isn't fast enough, with the bombs detonating and turning the entire city into a sheet of glass in the desert. Elsewhere,
Bro, this might be worse. This might be the worst universe of all time. Are you kidding me? Why did he do that? Freeing it from the burden of fossil fuel. What the freak? Yo, turned Las Vegas into a sheet of glass is actually absurd. Yo, this might be the worst universe of all time, superhero-wise.
Powerplex watches news of the devastation and sets his sights on settling business. Mark takes that guy with the cool tech that he stopped earlier to the Pentagon for the sake of having him get paid for his work, to which Cecil points out that it seems that Mark is coming around to his way of thinking. On his way back from the Pentagon, Mark gets stopped by Powerplex, and the two of them have a little clash of morality for a bit before Powerplex finally sees the error in his ways. Though everything seems mostly
time, man. Damn, I hated Powerplex, bro. He was so stupid. Like, I understand that comic villains are dumb, but Invincibles got kind of to the point where I was like, all right, bro. Like, Invisicate's brother, like, I'm sorry, bro, the Invisipal or whatever, bro, he was pissing me off. I was like, bro, anybody with 2 brain cells knows that whoever he was mad at was not the one who killed your sister, bro. Like, I digress, man.
For a bit before Powerplex finally sees the error in his ways. Though everything seems mostly good on a surface level, it's very clear that Invincible blames himself for Las Vegas. Back at the Pentagon, Robot and Monster Girl are back from the Flaxon dimension, stating that they were gone for about 12 years Flaxon time, though Cecil has a new job for Robot, which is essentially to be in charge of all of the superhero teams at the GDA.
Damn, 12 years. Zephfire, big bro, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to you, bro. I would say Zephfire, big bro, but that's like my name, so I guess, like, I don't know what your name is, but happy birthday to you, bro.
Flaxon time, though Cecil has a new job for Robot, which is essentially to be in charge of all of the superhero teams that the GDA is working with, to which he accepts because he's a little hurt by whatever caused him and Monster Girl to break up in the Flaxon dimension. Mark is trying to do right by Universa, who was just trying to save—
Oh? Who, shawty? This Monster Girl? Who this is? She's so? Hold on.
caused him and Monster Girl to break up in the Flaxon dimension. Mark is trying to do right by Universa, who was just trying to save her people, even if she was initially trying to go about it violently. So he works with Cecil to get her the energy that her planet needs, and sends her on her way. Meanwhile, Dinosaurus' human form, David Anders, turns himself in, stating that he figured out what causes his transformation: overwhelming indifference, which is kind of hilarious, honestly. He just gets fucking bored and the other guy decides to become an eco-terrorist. Mark and Eve seem to be doing well now that everything's settled, but things are rather awkward at the Monster Girl and Rex reunion party, as all of the dudes are being fucking creepy. Though it's here that the group learns of the demise of their relationship, but not why it happened.
Being creepy? What you mean by that? What happened? Being creepy about what?
Now that everything's settled, but things are—
Let's read. I can't really see. Who's this? Is this what he means? Like who are they trying to talk up on? Who is this? That's Monster Girl? Damn. Nah, ain't no way, bro. That's a Snow Bunny hypnosis. You see the two brothers up here, the only brothers in her face? Come on now, man. Yo, I'm telling you, bro, that hypnosis, man, it gonna catch you. It gonna catch you, bro. Whether you know it or not. No shot that's her. I'm saying no shot that's Monster Girl, bro. I thought it was a new character. I didn't even pay attention for real. No way.
Rex reunion party, as all of the dudes are being fucking creepy. Though it's here that the group learns of the demise of their relationship, but not why it happened. Afterwards, Eve is interesting, and Mark gets to see that, love it or hate it, Dinosaurus was actually kind of right about Vegas, as it's actually been turned into a solar panel field like he's planned, which is a realization that Mark has too. So he promptly breaks Dinosaurus out of prison with the intent of helping people without killing anyone, thus turning Mark into a fugitive. Before we can keep up with that, we have to check back to
kind of a mental leap,
which is a realization.
That's kind of a mental leap.
This was actually kind of right about Vegas, as it's actually been turned into a solar panel.
So you freed bro, despite the fact that he murdered everybody to flatten this city. Like, okay, he was right. That doesn't mean his method was correct. Are you kidding me? There's gotta be context he's skipping. There's no way. Unless someone in the chat like read this whole thing and lets me know. There's no way this is actually his thought process. Is there context he's missing? There's no way. Because he was semi-right, he just frees him. You killed an entire city of people.
Panel field like he's planned, which is a realization that Mark has too. So he promptly breaks Dinosaurus.
No, that's actually his thought process. Wow. Wow. Bro, I can't wait till I do that Mark Grayson fraud trial. I'm going to tear this nigga a new one. I can't wait till that Mark Grayson fraud trial, bro. We got 200 people up on the YouTube live. I appreciate y'all that are all in here, bro. Make sure you tap into the Twitch. That's where we be live all the time. No copyright, no nothing. The YouTube live streams are not as long as the Twitch ones. So make sure you tap in there. First link in the pinned. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that. Follow the Twitch. Let's get back into it.
The intent of helping people without killing anyone, thus turning Mark into a fugitive. Before we can keep up with that, we have to check back with the coalition of planets. Oliver is all healed up and no longer purple. Nolan and Debbie arrive after a bunch of weird freaky time that I swear was essential to the plot. But it's okay because we get an actually nice reunion between Debbie and Oliver. Alan learns at the end of the Viltromite War, and mirroring Mark's logic with Dinosaurus, but on a far bigger scale, decides to use the Scourge virus on Earth, which could potentially kill all of humanity as well as the Viltramites. And though Nolan attempts to stand up to Alan with both reason and strength,
strength, he is simply outclassed by Alan physically, who believes in
What? God damn, Alan?
war, and mirroring Mark's logic with Dinosaurus, but on a far bigger scale, decides to use the Scourge virus on Earth, which could potentially kill all of humanity as well as the Viltramites. And though Nolan attempts to stand up to Alan with both reason and strength, he is simply outclassed by Alan physically,
Wow.
who believes Nolan is an exception for Viltramites, not a rule. Oliver hears out both sides and ends up taking Alan's side, because of fucking course he does. With no
I just want y'all to know, not even 10 minutes ago, there was people in my chat saying that was too harsh on Oliver. I didn't even notice. You sided with the person who said, I'm going to wipe out your entire planet. This is what Alan said. I'm going to wipe out your entire planet with the virus. Human or Viltramite. And Oliver's like, you know what? I agree with him. Are you kidding me? There's no way somebody was in the chat defending this nigga. Not even 10 minutes ago. I've been knew he's bro. I'm telling y'all, bro, I got a fraud radar in my brain. I been knew that nigga was a fraud. I knew it. I knew it, bro. I have a fraud detector. It never wrong. It's never wrong, bro. Take that nigga out, man. Ain't no way, bro.
Of fucking course he does. With Nolan being imprisoned for the time being, Alan and Oliver depart for Earth, intent on solving the Viltramite problem once and for all. Back on Earth, Invincible and Dinosaurus save the world from Omnipotus, which sounds like it would be more important, but it really isn't. And though Cecil tries to talk with Mark shortly after about what he's doing with Dinosaurus,
I don't know who Omnipotus is. Who's that? Omnipotus. Invincible. This guy right here, very interesting. Okay. Fair.
Alan reaches Earth. Mark thinks that it's a friendly visit and goes to meet him in space, but upon learning the actual reason for his visit, he's obviously appalled. And though he tries reasoning with them, they're still intent on making the sacrifice play for what they think is the betterment of the universe. Alan tells Mark that his dad didn't have a chance in fighting him, so he asks what chance he has, which is responded to by fucking Thrag, stating that for obvious
Holy aura. Holy aura.
which is responded
Oh my goodness. He might be the greatest aura farmer of all time. Oh, this nigga said he has me. Lineup on point. Physique on 10. Fit looking immaculate. This might be the greatest aura farmer of all time. What? Yo, shout out my nigga Thrag. Hey, yo, Thrag, man. I ain't gonna lie. You that guy, bro. You actually that guy. I can't even hold you, bro. You actually him, bro. Ain't no freaking way.
Alan tells Mark that his dad didn't have a chance in fighting him, so he asks what chance he has, which is responded to by fucking Thrag, stating that for obvious reasons, he's taking Mark's side in this. Alan threatens Thrag with the Scourge virus, but Thrag, ever the diplomat, simply points out the obvious fact that they are still at a standstill, proposing the same truce he made to Mark, but not to the coalition. Though they're seemingly about to come to an agreement, the Guardians of the Globe pull up and kinda ruin everything. Oliver decides to seize the moment to be a dickhead, and takes it upon himself to unleash the Scourge virus on Earth. Mark stops him, but in the scuffle, fact that they are still at a standstill, proposing the same truce he made to Mark, but not to the coalition. Though they're seemingly about to come to an agreement, the Guardians of the Globe pull up and kinda ruin everything. Oliver decides to seize the moment to be a dickhead, and takes it upon himself to unleash the Scourge virus on Earth. Mark stops him, but in the scuffle, the weapon fires off, infecting him directly.
Bro, Oliver, you are an actual freak, bro. There's no words. There's no words to describe how fried you are.
And everything.
There's actually no words to describe how fried you are. Y'all in the YouTube chat saying there's a spammer? Yeah, I handled him, bro. Don't worry about it.
Decides to seize the moment to be a dickhead, and takes it upon himself to unleash the Scourge
My
virus on Earth.
word.
Mark stops him, but in the scuffle, the weapon fires off, infecting him directly. Though the planet is no longer at risk of the virus, it immediately starts taking its toll on Mark. Aboard a Viltramite ship nearby Earth, everyone is gathered, worried about Mark, even Thrag of all people, who vows that the Viltramites will do their best to save him in order to prove that the Viltramites are better than the
Shout
coalition
out
who did.
Thrag. Shout out Thrag, man. Yo, he might be one of my favorite characters just off this. I know I'ma love him. Yo, shout out Thrag. What a real one.
this to him, which works out rather nicely as they are the only ones who know how to deal with the Scourge virus, even if this is a stronger version of it. Alan recruits Dinosaurus to help with the process of Mark's recovery, to which Thrag reluctantly obliges, ordering everybody else off of the ship. In the lab aboard the Viltramite ship, they run Mark's DNA to try and synthesize a cure, and they discover something rather odd. Thrag's task of finding Argyll's heir, the original leader of the Viltramite Empire all the way back at the start of the series' history, has seemingly been accomplished, as Mark is a match, making Nolan the next in line for the throne. Thrag takes the life of the scientist who told him this, stating,
Oh, no way. Oh, Mark's royalty? That makes him even more fraudulent, by the way. Is the royal blood special? Because if so, that makes him even more fraudulent. But nah, that's it. What? What a freaking twist. What the freak?
Viltramite Empire all the way back at the start of the series' history, has seemingly been accomplished, as Mark is a match, making Nolan the next in line for the throne. Thrag takes the life of the scientist who told him this.
Hey, shout out Thrag, though. This is an insane kill. Oh, my word. Mark and Oliver are not frauds. Nightboy499, either you were not watching this stream, or you got Oliver's meat enlarged so far up your booty hole, you don't know what you're talking about. There's no way you saw the last 10 minutes and you're going to still come up here and say Oliver's not a fraud. You are insane. I'm going to let the chat handle you, bro. I'm going to let the chat handle. I'm not even going to get into that tangent. I'm going to let the chat handle you, bro. And also, I'm going to let the chat handle you.
Nobody can know, pondering what to do in the meantime. Bulletproof tries to take over Invincible's job in his absence, though he isn't allowed to talk to Eve for too long as he tries to rizz her up the first chance he gets.
No way. That's nobody mind control, my nigga. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Shoot or shoot. I would hit that Kyrie crossover into the 3 for Adam Eve as well, but nah, nigga, you wildin'.
Absence. Though he is
Y'all
allowed
crying.
to talk to Eve for too long as he tries to rizz her
Oh
up the
my
first chance he
word.
gets. Meanwhile, Oliver and Alan ponder the morality of what they almost did before deciding to visit Tech Jacket.
You guys now want to ponder the morality?
Meanwhile, Oliver
Don't piss me off. Do not piss me off. Don't. Now y'all want to question the morality? Come, bro. Alan Loki might fall off my list too if you was willing to pull that off. Come on, man. Alan, you are the biggest protector of people ever. Now you want to sacrifice them for the greater good. Come on now, bruh.
and Alan ponder the morality of what they almost did before deciding to visit Tech Jacket. Back on Thrag's ship, Thrag pays a visit to Mark, who can't pass on the Scourge virus at this point. After monologuing to himself a bit, he attempts to take Mark's life in his sleep, stating that he would be unwilling to yield his position as Grand Regent to a bunch of traitors. My absolute goat, Dinosaurus, intervenes though, threatening to blow up the ship if either of them are killed, demonstrating that he is well within his bounds to do so, even if attacking Thrag nearly gets him killed. Dinosaurus flees with Mark, who talks within his bounds to do so, even if it's—
Yo, Thrag is actually him. How do you tank? How does he bite down on you and it literally destroys all of his teeth? Look how he pulled his jaw apart too. Yo, Thrag's actually that nigga. Oh my god. Thrag's actually that nigga. My goodness.
attacking Thrag nearly gets him killed. Dinosaurus flees with Mark, who talks a little bit with him, before being met by Adam Eve and the rest of the gang, who mistakenly believe that Dinosaurus is keeping him kidnapped. During the confusion, Mark punches Alan, but is horrified to learn that though his super strength has returned rather quickly after his infection, his durability has not, and his arm nearly self-destructs upon impact with Alan.
God.
Mark is taken to the Pentagon to recover, which is attacked by some squid fodder, who are dealt with rather quickly by the teams that Robot manages, though there is noticeably some hostility between Monster Girl and Robot. Speaking of, this is finally where we get to learn what happened between the two of them in the Flaxon dimension. Strap your fucking seatbelts, boys. This takes place over the course of 700 plus years of Flaxon time, so I'll try to get through it quickly. After
They survived that 700 years? How is Monster Girl alive? How does she look like she's in her mid-20s if this was 700 years? How is that even possible?
arriving in the Flaxon dimension, they realized they were stranded without the rest of the Guardians, so they surrendered and got captured. Over the next half a millennia, they worked to overthrow the Zaxels, the tyrannical, warmongering royalty in charge of the Flaxon dimension, and during the course of doing so, they developed an extraordinary bond together, having no intention of going back to Earth. Despite an apparent era of peace, things weren't all good, as Rex placed rather harsh punishments on the entire Zaxel family, which may have been fair initially, but ended up resulting in the descendants of the Zaxels being mistreated while working in the mines to barely scrape by. So seeing this, Monster Girl takes it upon herself to free them from their servitude. This causes a fight that makes Rex and Amanda split for decades, before getting back together. And after another while, the heirs to the Zaxel family attempt to overthrow Rex,
He orders Monster Girl to get them, but only after doing that one thing that caused Scare PewDiePie Season 2 to get cancelled all the way back when. Amanda helps overthrow Rex, and when all is said and
Don't understand that reference. Death to all Zexels. A Monster Girl, get them.
Scare PewDiePie Season 2 to get cancelled all the way
Amanda,
back
no.
when. Amanda helps overthrow Rex, and when all is said and done, she sleeps with one of the Zaxel heirs, unknowingly.
Wow, so she backdoors Rex and then sleeps with somebody else.
Amanda helps overthrow Rex, and when all is said and done, she sleeps with one of the Zaxel heirs,
Wow.
unknowingly getting her pregnant, as the Monster Girl is also actually a monster dude. Don't worry about the logistics of it, it's not important.
So Monster Girl got a pee-pee. Let's keep going.
Amanda realizes that Rex's prejudice was low-key kinda right towards the Zaxels, so she helps him overthrow them once again after breaking him out of prison, before confessing what she did behind closed doors. Rex is so crushed by this that their relationship ends there.
Man, yo, what is she on? What's her game plan or her mode? What is she? So you telling me you went to sleep with one of them? Betrayed Rex to lock Robot up. You slept with one of them. I don't know if you got cracked or you did the cracking. Kind of confusing there, but I digress. And then once you get the child and like you're raising it with them, now you realize that Robot was right the entire time. You free him after I don't know how many years. And then now you want to tell him, oh, by the way, off me thinking that you were wrong, not only did I backdoor you, I also cheated on you. Bro, are you kidding me? I'm finding a lot of stupid people in this comic right now. There's a lot of stupid people I'm finding out in this comic so far, chat. There's a lot of people with some straight garbage bin brain cells we're seeing right now.
Low-key kinda right towards the Zaxels, so she helps him overthrow them once again after
Valley
breaking him
crash out.
prison.
Does Robot, if I can speak, does Robot crash out? I don't know why I keep saying Robert. Does Robot crash out? He should. He has every right.
Before confessing what she did behind closed doors. Rex is so crushed by this that their relationship ends there, and they decide to return to Earth after naming an heir, stating that the Flaxon dimension will be okay. Okay, we're all caught up, which is good, because that arc takes like 5 50-page chapters in the comics to get explained. Holy fuck. Anyways, back in the present day, the Flaxons are invading London again, with Monster Girl's kid leading the army. During the battle, Krieg intervenes and saves some civilians, which is rather odd, as I thought they were told explicitly to keep their hands out of human affairs. Well, besides having affairs with humans in his case, I guess. After a surprising amount of struggle, because Invincible wasn't there, they subdue her kid, Monex, taking him into custody. The next day, Oliver apologizes to Mark for almost killing him, and Alan and Oliver leave for Telescria. Mark and Eve start being freaky shortly after, which is a good time for us to—
Come on, man. You really think I don't know. I don't know. You were so willing to do it. I'd forgive him, but I what y'all think in chat? I'd forgive him, but like I'm not hanging out with you ever again though. Like I don't want to see you ever again. Like I'm not trying to see Brody ever again. Bro, you were so willing to kill me. You were so willing to kill me and everybody that I loved. You were so willing. I don't know, bro. Oliver a whole ass nigga, bro. I might not, bro. Cause you grew up on that planet. You grew up with him. And now you want to throw it all away? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not giving it to bro. What y'all? I'm not giving it to bro. What y'all thinking? I'm not giving it to.
And Alan and Oliver leave for Telescria. Mark and Eve start being freaky shortly after, which is a good time for us to cut away to Thrag, who is currently scolding Krieg for his involvement in London, which starts up a rather interesting dilemma. The Viltramites are actually falling in love, not just blindly repopulating. We'll come back to that in a second though. Rex and Amanda get back together after apologizing to each other for repopulating. We'll come back.
You have nearly a dozen human women spread all over the globe who are currently impregnated with your offspring. I know, Great Regent Thrag. I know, and I love them all. Yo, this nigga moving like Future, bro. Hell no. Bro said, I love them all. This Nick Cannon ass nigga, bro. This NBA Youngboy ass nigga, bro. Alright, man. Yo, this man was horned out. Freaked out, bro. God, yo, he saw BBL one time. He said, man, I can't leave this planet.
Back to that in a second, though.
Oh,
Rex
nah,
and Amanda
bro.
get back together after apologizing to each other. But secretly, we get let in on a little fact. Despite pretending to be shocked that Monster Girl had Flaxon progeny, he was in fact aware of the child's existence, and had actually ordered the execution of all Zaxels, including the unborn child, shortly before returning to Earth with her. Returning to a little dinner he had with his parents before it got interrupted, Bulletproof opens up to his parents that his brother is dead, and that in fact he is Bulletproof. A fact that I neglected to mention during the backstory portion of the video because honestly, I think Bulletproof is boring as shit. But his parents pretty naturally freak out, assuming that Bulletproof killed his brother. In response, his girlfriend, who he is—
What the? A frying pan to the head? What are we doing? What are we doing?
already cheated on before and tried to cheat on again with Eve, kills his mom before Bulletproof kills his dad, who had retaliated.
What do I even say about that plotline? Bro, they just admit something like that and then kill their parents? Why? I don't even understand why. What the hell?
Assuming that Bulletproof killed his brother. In response, his girlfriend, who he has already cheated on before and tried to cheat on again with Eve, kills his mom before Bulletproof kills his dad, who had retaliated. Bulletproof then stages their death as a car accident. As Alan and Oliver arrive back to Telescria, Nolan is freed from prison, and Nolan, Alan, and Oliver depart once again on a mission to see what the Viltramites are actually scheming. Meanwhile, during a case of Freak Invincible, Mark gets his powers back, so that's cool. Meanwhile, Levy seemingly finally gets free from his debt to the technicians after making their world perfect. So he decides to have his revenge on Invincible, cause that worked so well the first two times. Mark dons his blue suit again after a long while, and I'm not sure if you noticed, but not a whole lot of good things happen to Invincible while he's wearing the blue suit. So we should probably be worried. Oh, would you look at that? He's checking up on Dinosaurus for the first time in a while. And oh, would you look at that? He's trying to blow up
Los Angeles.
Mark seemingly disarms the situation.
Again? You just blew it up! Yo, these niggas are crazy. What the freak is happening in this damn comic? This might be some of the craziest stuff we don't ever watch the read through chat. I'm not gonna lie. Dude, this show just gets absurd. Are you kidding me?
To learn that this was merely a farce for his actual schemes. And Greenland's gone. That sucks. Invincible has made what can—
I thought they was cool. I thought they was cool. Bro, you protected him from Thrag.
farce for his actual schemes. And
are you kidding me? I thought you was cool.
And Greenland's—
What's the reason? Anyone who's seen this in the chat, yo, you gotta explain why he did this. You were just cool with him. You saved his life. Not even 10 minutes ago. To be honest, nobody lives there. Do you know how many animals are in Greenland, bro? Do you know how much animal life is getting destroyed out there? You know how much global warming is getting caused by blowing up somewhere like Greenland? Climate change. He's doing it because of climate change. Is he actually slow? Does he not know that climate change would make this worse? This would make climate change worse. Bro, he might be the slowest nigga of all time. There is too many slow niggas in this comic.
gone. That sucks. Invincible has made what can probably be considered to be an awful fucking judgment call by bailing out Dinosaurus, pretty aptly feeling betrayed and starting to fight him. Meanwhile, Thrag calls a meeting with the Viltramites, telling them to just chill the fuck out, as they still don't want any attention. Anyways, back to the main event. The two are dragging their fight throughout Los Angeles, but near the end, and here's the crazy part, after getting an audience, Dinosaurus kills Invincible for like 3 seconds. Yeah, he swapped Invincible with a clone that he had previously made so that he could, quote, kill him in front of the world, thereby freeing him of his obligations and allowing him to commit to helping Dinosaurus full-time. However, Invincible talks to him.
What the bro, what is this show? What the freak?
Invincible with a clone that he had previously made so that he could, quote, kill him in front of the world, thereby freeing him of his obligations and allowing him to commit to helping Dinosaurus full-time. However, Invincible talks to him and tries—
I mean, sure.
to show him the error of his ways, as despite his facade of doing this purely for the saving of the planet and humanity, this has only slowed it, not solved it. And really, what started as acts to seemingly better the planet became feats to fulfill his monstrous ego. He frees Invincible and asks him to kill him to prevent any further cataclysmic events. Rest in peace, my goat Dinosaurus. You were based as fuck even if you were too advanced for their simple minds.
Based is crazy. Calling any of that I just saw based is absurd. Any of that being based, I'm gonna let you cook, brother. But bro, based is insane.
After the deed is done, Cecil comes to him, having
We might have to check this creator's hard drive.
his location after the swap. They have a debrief about just how much Mark fucked up, which Cecil can sympathize with, having been in similar positions before with trusting the wrong people. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Thankfully though, the damage in the coming days can mostly be minimized, as Rex previously designed some extra moons for the Earth in case it needed to be kept in low tide. Honestly, I don't really care for that explanation that much, but whatever. In case it needed to be kept, coming days can mostly be minimized, as Rex previously designed some extra moons for the Earth in case it needed to be kept in low tide.
Bro, this that like comic and anime I be talking about, bro. How do you just make backup moons? And it's like, oh, I just made this in case we needed it. How do you just do that? How do you just do that? Bro, anime and cartoons be doing that all the time. It be frying me, bro. How do you just do that? Okay, bro.
Honestly, I don't really care for that explanation that much, but whatever. Mark asks for the death toll so far, which is currently at 800,000, and is expected to be at least 1 million before the countermeasures can be put in place. Mark pretty obviously expects to be locked away for this, but all Cecil asks in return for Mark's freedom is that he wears an earpiece like the old days, taking orders. He just wants Invincible to be on his retainer in case he really needs him. Though Mark is reluctant, Cecil just points out that he's worked with villains before. Mark doesn't leave his loved ones hanging too long though, as he makes sure they know he's alive shortly after. Afterwards, Mark has a talk with Eve about how he's decided to try and think things through more thoroughly now, so that he doesn't end up having any repeats like he did with Dinosaurus. No more surprises, he says, before Eve promptly proclaims that she is pregnant. It's okay though, because the couple seems pretty happy about it, and Mark will actually be here this time. So everything's cool in spite of the awful canonicity of Viltramite being strong enough to just phase through it. Elsewhere, Thrag is just like, what the fuck?
Wait, what? I just don't get how did this happen. We are careful. We're not stupid. Condoms like 99.9% effective, right? So what is it? I don't know. Viltramite sperm. Please never say that again, bro. So Viltramite sperm is stronger than a condom. Yo, I'm crying.
Enough to just phase through it.
Yo, I'm crying. Ain't no way, bro.
Thrag is just like, what the fuck is going on? Anissa won't reproduce. Krieg is so into reproducing that he's willing to get detected on Earth for it. And Lucan is a loyal partner who refuses to breed with more than one human so that he doesn't hurt her. These are some of Viltram's top officers who refuse to
Yo, you gotta pick a struggle, bro. Alright, so you love too much woman that you're willing to fight on Earth for it. You are loyal. I'm telling you, black men don't cheat. He loyal. And then you don't even want any of the niggas on Earth. She ain't met a nigga like me for real, clearly. Clearly, she ain't me Invincible versus version of Zephfire, bro. She would have already had 10. I'm just saying. But that's crazy. That's crazy, twin. That's a crazy problem to have, my boy. Cannot believe you, Thrag.
These are some of Viltram's top officers, and they are showing the same signs of what could be considered weakness, much in the same way that Omni-Man did long ago. The Immortal finally decides to be useful again, and Mark and Eve help with the cleanup of Earth post-Greenland. Except, Rex kinda wants nothing to do with Mark, which is sorta fair. The guy's supposed to be dead or in prison. But a crucial element that he's forgetting is that Cecil kinda doesn't give a shit about how evil someone may be so long as they can either be reformed or they're currently useful. So he bails him out of the awkward situation. Bulletproof almost gets a rare W by sticking up for Mark, until you remember that it's Bulletproof and he was rather weird for Eve earlier. Nonetheless though, it's very important to know
that's the side nigga panel right there.
And he was
if y'all know that meme, that's the side nigga panel right there. Yeah, that's hilarious.
For Eve earlier. Nonetheless though, it's very important to note just how high the tensions are between Mark and Rex. At the Pentagon, Mark tells Cecil that Eve is pregnant and that Nolan is back on Earth, to which Cecil states that he can help with both. Mark also goes to verify Dinosaurus' corpse, having marked it beforehand to make sure that he wasn't going to have a conquest situation anytime soon, which kind of scares Cecil a little. Mark and Eve have essentially a superhero midwife now, who says that the pregnancy is looking good, but that Eve needs to limit her power usage to none, as it could deplete nutrients that the baby needs. On the moon, Nolan and Debbie live in exile, which is actually pretty tame of a punishment for Nolan's previous crimes on Earth. Cecil just wants Nolan to keep an eye on the Viltramites just in case. He leaves the happy couple be, but Thrag is a hater-ass bitch, who basically just jumps them the moment that Cecil leaves, feeling threatened by his bloodline. Thrag starts monologuing
Yo, shout out to Go Thrag, bro. Shout out Go.
Basically just jumps them the moment that Cecil leaves, feeling threatened by his bloodline. Thrag starts monologuing about Nolan's bloodline and his duty to Argal, but Nolan is too busy mogging. He doesn't care about a legacy or ruling the Viltramites or usurping Thrag or whatever, but Thrag doesn't want to risk anybody stepping on his legacy, so he commences in beating Nolan's ass. He beats the man within an inch of his life, all while proclaiming himself as the rightful leader of the Viltramites. But just when it looks like all is lost, Krieg stops Thrag's finishing blow, allowing Nolan to free himself from his grasp. The Viltramites realize what happened, that Thrag had found the rightful heir to the throne, but wasn't willing to concede it himself. And though Thrag far outclasses Nolan physically, that is not what the Viltramites care about here, as it wasn't Argal's strength that they were after, but rather his wisdom. They jump Thrag and nearly kill him before Nolan tells him to spare his life, with the Viltramites bowing before the rightful heir. In a crazy turn of
Wow, so they turn on Thrag and jump him.
Kill him before Nolan tells him to spare his life, with the Viltramites.
Wow, look at his limp body in the back. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Nigga, that is insane. Oh my word. Hold on. This getting crazy right now, chat. Hold on.
Bowing
Hold on!
In a crazy turn of events, Nolan is hastily made the ruler of the Viltram Empire, but states that he will be doing things differently, focusing more on the people as a whole who had previously been withering to nothing, rather than wasting their people and resources conquering other planets.
Yep.
The Viltramites hail to their new ruler, with Thrag being imprisoned for the time being. Mark and Eve talk a little bit about it, and it seems to have gone over well, though Mark remarks that sometimes he wishes he could just go back to high school when things were simpler. In spite of this nostalgic sentiment, he tells Eve just how much she means to him, and effectively proposes to her, though he doesn't have a ring yet, which isn't an issue as Eve materializes one for them, so now our happy couple is engaged. We get to catch up a little bit with Angstrom Levy though, who is actually kind of flourishing now that he thinks Mark is dead, though his day is ruined when he receives the good news. In a similar vein, Robot is busy being a hater-ass bitch on one of the artificial moons, and mauls a little bit to Amanda about the credit Invincible is being given. Back to our happy couple after another incident of Freakvincible. They're talking a little bit about the near future of their relationship before Eve realizes that she may have messed up a little by using her powers to make the ring. So they check with their midwife, who says that—
No way. Y'all didn't even realize that. Bro.
everything is fine, but tells them to knock that shit off, as further usage could actually severely mess things up for the baby.
Wow.
Eve goes to tell the other happy couple, no, not those bums, about the engagement and pregnancy, and Mark fights a singular Mauler twin. Yeah, I guess he just had a backup somewhere, which weirdly enough makes more sense than the backup shit that Kate had going on. He makes light work of the Mauler, and everything seems to be going good. But
yo, the Mauler twins just stay through the whole series, huh? The Mauler twins are just always there.
Shit that Kate had going on. He makes light work of the Mauler, and everything seems to be going good. But when Eve gets back home, Angstrom Levy is back in business, waiting for her arrival. When Mark tries to intervene, Levy sends him through another portal to the same planet that he had abandoned the alternate Marks on. And we get to see none other than Kate Vincible.
Oh no! Oh no! They pay that off? Oh no!
And we get to see—
Bro, so that planet where there was all boxing, Invincible goes back to? Oh, nigga, that's insane. Oh my gosh.
none other than Kate Vincible, who has cannibalized his counterparts, and furthermore—
Wow, nah, that's actually so fire. That is so gas. Oh my goodness. It's blurred because, like, you know, yo, Invincible be gory as hell. You can literally see him eat. I don't even know what Invincible this is. He's eating somebody. Oh my goodness gracious, bro. Nah, hold on. This comic might be freaking peak, chat. Hold on.
Trying to eat our Mark. But it's mostly okay, because Eve just kind of powers through his revenge boner just to say that everything will work out in her favor anyways, specifically because she didn't dedicate her life to revenge at the first chance she got. Mark kills Kate Vincible with the help of Mohawk Mark, who is still alive.
Oh, Mohawk Mark's still alive. Okay. Okay.
Shortly after, they're able to escape the dimension through another one of Angstrom's portals. However, Angstrom actually seems affected by Eve's previous monologue, so he apologizes to our Mark, as he was essentially just collateral damage as a direct result of Angstrom's own fuck-ups. This is to our Mark.
Oh, hold on.
However, Angstrom actually seems affected by Eve's previous monologue, so he apologizes to our Mark, as he was essentially
About time. W. Angstrom, look at that.
collateral damage as a direct result of Angstrom's own fuck-ups. He surrenders, offering Mohawk Mark a path to his own dimension, stating that he's willing to accept whatever punishment is fit for his crimes. Not one for charity though. Mohawk Mark drags him to his home dimension with him, seemingly ending the threat of Angstrom once and for all. Mark, however, is still just a tiny bit paranoid, so he employs the help of Rex to help him track down Levy just to be sure. Aboard the Viltromite ship, Nolan sentences Thrag to exile, as he wants Thrag to—
I don't know. I don't like the sound of that, bro. He was already gone. Angstrom was already gone, and you gonna chase him down? I wouldn't have let him. I wouldn't have let him. Yeah, look at Rex. He even said, it took my counterpart 15 years to find you. Is that important? I don't know, Mark. This seemed like an L move, bro. Like, I understand, but this don't seem like a smart move, bro. Mohawk Mark definitely would have put him in the pavement by now. And I don't think Mohawk Mark not gonna come back for you, my nigga. I don't know, Chad. This might go bad for the nigga.
On Levy just to be sure. Aboard the Viltromite ship, Nolan sentences Thrag to exile, as he wants Thrag to witness the Viltram Empire flourishing without him. And so the tyrant departs, presumably to live a happy life and get settled down with a wife and kids. Mark offhandedly mentions that he's still looking for Angstrom, but those who have played both Red Deads know that our protagonist here may be better off not seeking revenge. Hell, It was kind of the whole point of Eve's speech to Angstrom earlier. Anyways, Nolan gives Alan a Discord call to tell him of his new status, and tell him of Thrag's fate, to which Alan has, mixed reactions. We get to see some genuinely—
Yeah, letting Thrag go is kind of crazy too. But to be fair, the entire army's against Thrag. Thrag's actually not as much of a threat. I think the entire army could jump Thrag and they probably win.
Though the third seems to be in an interesting state. But Nolan descends to Earth to ask Mark if he wants to pull up to the moon, to which he obliges and informs Nolan of the pregnancy. On Telescria, Battle Beast has a mate, and he himself is tasked with hunting and killing Thrag, which we will have to wait to see as Doc Seismic gets transformed into a lava monstrosity. We'll also have to wait because we're back on the moon, with even Mark visiting Nolan in Debbie's place, which results in an arm wrestling match that Nolan wins. Amanda goes to see Monax in prison, who tells her that Rex is not what he seems, though it seems that she isn't quite ready for that conversation right now. Rex assembles his team to counter an attack from Doc Seismic and his new accomplice, but the attack is stopped by Anissa? What the fuck? She tries to make a move on Mark, which is—
Is it this? Is it here? Is it here?
Accomplice, but the attack is stopped by Anissa? What the fuck? She tries to make a move on Mark, which is super not cool, and hopefully she'll take a hint that he's not interested. Eve tries to convince Mark to let go of his hatred for Angstrom Levy, but it's of no use. Robot contacts him during the night, saying that he has completed a portal to Angstrom Levy, but it's hopefully she'll take a hint that he's not interested. Eve tries to convince Mark to let go of his hatred for Angstrom Levy, but it's of no use.
I mean, to be fair, Angstrom Levy did pull up with like 30 variants of you to destroy the planet. I don't expect you to trust him right away either. I'm not gonna lie. Like I semi understand, but I don't know. Hunting him down after if Mohawk Mark wasn't there to take down Angstrom Levy, I would have said maybe that's a good move. But like you already have an Invincible that's gonna probably kill him. I don't know. This might go bad for the nigga, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You might re-spark another op, bro. If you try to kill Angstrom, like he's only let you go because you're the only good Invincible. If you go out your way to try to kill him, there might be an Angstrom Levy in that verse that's like, oh, he just saw the good Invincible kill another version of him. Now I'm gonna kill you. Who knows, bro?
Robot contacts him during the night, saying that he has completed a portal device and tracked Levy to Mohawk Mark's dimension. One last time, Eve tries to plead with him, saying that she has a bad feeling about this, but the couple gets into a fight over it and she walks off before he leaves. Rex offers to postpone, but
Angstrom Levy did beat his mom too. Someone in the chat just did say that. I like I said, I understand. But if Mohawk Mark was not there, I would understand. But like Mohawk Mark dragged him through the portal. It was him. Like Mohawk Mark was like, I'm gonna beat that nigga ass. I'm not forgiving him. Dragged him through the portal. Like I don't like, bro. I would trust Mohawk Mark. Mohawk Mark not a bum like you. Mohawk Mark would put him in a blender. He's the only one to survive that whole like when they were abandoned on that planet. He's the only one to survive. Clearly he knows how to scrap. I don't know, bro.
Is too tunnel visioned on making sure Levy never hurts his family again. They travel to the alternate dimension, noting the large Viltramite fleet nearby. While discussing where to go first, they are discovered by an alternate conquest.
Oh, it's here? Bro, this is where this page is from? Please resist? It's here? I thought it was from like all the way back here. What? Oh, that's so sick. I love that line too. That is like one of the coldest lines I've ever heard a villain ever say. Please resist. Please, nigga, that is so hard, bro. Bro, he said, yo, you either come with me or we're boxing. Please do not walk with me. I want to fight you, bro. He said, do not comply with what I'm saying. I want to scrap. Please resist. That's one of the hardest lines I ever heard, bro.
Who takes them to Mohawk Mark, this dimension's ruler of the Viltram Empire.
Yup.
He recognizes Invincible and takes him to Levy, who has a fate that Ted from I Have No...
Literally look at him. You had no reason to chase him down. Look at Angstrom. Look, bro. He put that nigga in a blender. Yo, I'm gonna pull up that panel. Can I pull up that panel? Mohawk Mark Angstrom Levy. How can I find that panel? I want to see that unblurred. Oh my god. Look at this. Look at this chat. Hold on. That is absurd. That is actually insane. Wow. Wow.
Mouth and I must scream would only be slightly envious of. Levy is barely alive, only remaining so because Mohawk has deemed it to be, wanting to expand his empire into other dimensions. Mohawk goes on a rant about what made the alternate Marks evil, which is just the final straw for Rex, who starts playing the frequency that Viltramites are weak to, utilizing the tech that he dug out of Mark's head all those years ago. He slaughters everyone in the room in horrific fashion, before laying it out plain and simple to Mark. He has big plans, and Mark just doesn't fit into them. And since he doesn't want to kill him, he figured it'd be better to just strand him here, complimenting him on his time with Dinosaurus, as it was similar to his own future plans in a rather unconventional way that'll make sense soon. Hell, he had even considered Mark as an ally down the line, but seeing Mohawk, a Mark who had tapped into his full conquering potential, it made Rex come to the conclusion that Mark could never be an ally. He'd never allow him to do what must be done. He bids Mark farewell in a rather awkward position. Scrambling for cover,
What? What? Robot did that? I gotta run that whole thing back. I hold what? We talked a lot about what turned us. A few of us, our fathers always raised us to take over. The rest, there was something else that turned us, opened our eyes to who we really were. I'm guessing that hasn't happened to you yet. Damn. So they all have that dark side. You have yet to realize how different you are from the people of this planet. How stupid it is for you to waste your time protecting them, fighting for them, without getting anything in return when they could be worshiping you.
Final straw for Rex.
What? Whoa, what?
Mohawk goes on a rant about what made...
Oh, so Mohawk Mark saying that, Robot was like, yeah, I'm making sure you don't even reach that potential. Wow. Yo, what a freaking twist.
The alternate
no way, Robot becomes a villain.
Final straw for Rex, who starts playing the frequency that Viltram
are
weak to, utilizing the tech that he dug out of Mark's head all those years ago. He slaughters everyone in the
Oh my goodness.
in horrific fashion, before laying it out plain and simple to Mark. He has big plans, and Mark just doesn't fit into them. And since he doesn't want to kill him, he figured it'd be better to just strand him here, complimenting him on his time with Dinosaurus, as it was similar to his own future plans in a rather unconventional way that'll make sense soon. Hell, he had even considered Mark as an ally down the line, but seeing Mohawk, a Mark who had tapped into his full conquering potential, it made Rex come to the conclusion that Mark could never be an ally. He'd never allow him to do what must be done. He bids Mark farewell in a rather awkward position.
That is freaking insane.
Scrambling for cover, he mimics Mohawk's attire and attitude, playing it rather well before seeking the help of another who may be able to help him escape. Mark recruits this dimension's robot, who never made his transformation into Rex's body, as well as the singular Muller twin left in existence here. Rudy picks up where the previous science team had left off, with Mark using the Muller twins' know-how to make another of his own body for Rudy to copy his conscience into, which would effectively give him control over this universe's Viltram Empire. After a couple of months, their project is ready. But bad news, the Viltramites are also impatient as shit, so they attempt to take the building by force to have their ruler back in person. And they've rolled up with what is unironically the peak potential version of Monster Girl, the baby. They cast her towards the hidden base, and holy fuck, look at that actual behemoth. Anyways, it's fine, as the transfer...
No freaking way! They have Monster Girl in their control.
Base, and holy...
Bro! No way!
Fuck, look at that actual behemoth. Anyways, it's fine.
Bro, this comic's freaking awesome. Oh my goodness. Yo, when people say this is American Dragon Ball, they not lying. This is absurd. This is some peak.
As the transfer is complete, and thus the two universes bid each other farewell. With
also, 300 people on the YouTube live. I appreciate you, bro. If you want less ads, Pull up to the Twitch. Pinned in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe, follow the Twitch, all that jazz. You know what I'm saying? We be on Twitch a lot longer than we do be on YouTube. So, just letting y'all know.
Parties obtaining what they're seeking.
Damn!
Mark arrives in his home dimension, and it's here that I must give a sensitivity warning, as this chapter is pretty heavy. So go ahead and skip to the timestamp on screen if the mention of any of this is upsetting for you. Mark returns home to a very visibly pregnant Eve, who is pretty understandably still very mad. But also an Eve who has been told by Rex that he had perished in the other dimension. Still trying to stop Rex, he tries to inquire about his location, but Eve really isn't in any mood to listen right now, as she had almost lost the baby during his 6-month absence. Not to mention thinking that he was dead on top of the fight that they had before he left.
As she should, cause what the freak is wrong with you, my nigga?
Tries to inquire about his location, but Eve really isn't in any mood to listen right now, as she had almost lost the baby during his 6-month absence.
Wow.
Not to mention thinking that he was dead on top of the fight that they had before he left.
Wow. Wow. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark.
Mark tries to explain how dire the situation is, but she is having none of it, attempting to break things off before just telling him to leave. Don't worry about that too much though, this basically gets undone like instantly. He reluctantly leaves, telling her that he will make things right. While sorting out his feelings in the clouds, he's stumbled upon by Anissa, who says that she has been looking for him everywhere. Anissa starts mansplaining, yes, I know, about how much she just doesn't want to be with any human on the planet, as she sees them all as far below her. So she sets her eyes on Mark, as he is effectively the next best thing. Mark, of course, shuts her down, but she refuses to take no for an answer. Anissa and Mark fight, but no matter how much he tells her he doesn't want this, she doesn't care, forcing herself onto him anyways. Even amidst all of the violence, bloodshed, tragedy, and heartbreak throughout the course of Invincible's story, this still easily stands as probably the most uncomfortable moment in the entirety of the series for many, myself included. And though a couple of corners of the internet joke about it to try and make it seem like Mark wasn't manly or what have you for not wanting to blindly go at it with every woman he sees, this is probably among the worst things that happened to Invincible.
Literally, bro. That's the type of jokes where it's like, bro, that's why men's sexual assault's never taken seriously. Like when y'all be seeing like, oh, like this teacher like touched this like little boy while he was like 7 years old and like in like a kindergarten class or something crazy like that. You will see niggas in the comments talking about some, damn, if that was me, I'd be mad happy. Like, bro, it's so much of loser niggas, bro. Like, you don't know how that affects somebody's consciousness, bro. Like that is like I hate niggas that look at it like that, bro.
Consequences throughout the entire remainder of our time left with the series. Anissa flies off, leaving Mark to sit in a pit of disgust, anguish, and despair. A kind farmer stumbles upon Mark, offering him some clothes to pick himself up again. He accepts the offer and flies off to try and warn Cecil of the danger that Rex poses. He tells Cecil of exactly what happened, and while he does believe his story, he needs just a tiny bit more of a push from Mark just to be sure he is in the correct dimension. Rex makes his presence known, and Cecil tries to initiate a deeper dialogue about what happened, but Rex sees that this is truly the time to make his move. He disables Mark with sound and slits Cecil's throat, pinning Cecil's death on Mark.
Wait, what?
Before ensuring that he tries to initiate a deeper dialogue about what happened, but Rex...
So he just blicks Cecil on sight.
Believe his story, he needs just a tiny bit more of a push from Mark just to be sure he is in the correct dimension. Rex makes his presence known, and Cecil tries to initiate a deeper dialogue about what happened, but Rex sees that this is truly the time to make his move. He disables Mark with sound and slits Cecil's throat, pinning Cecil's death on Mark, before ensuring that he will not survive by crushing his head. Robot
Damn, robot! Oh my word!
To Mark about how much sorrow he feels over what he had to do, but Mark powers through the frequency and decommissions.
Mark got raped and framed for murder in a week time span. I'm saying, yo, this thing got the worst superhero life of all time, bro. Who got it close to this, bro? Spider-Man at his like peak worst, but nigga, this is horrible. Not to mention he was stuck in an alternate dimension too, and lost his bib, by the way, and lost his shorty. And he don't got his kid no more, so he's gonna be paying child support. Broke too. No job. What a bad, bro. Y'all saying what a bad week, nigga. What a bad life. He has not seen peace since Conquest arrived. Since season 3 ends, this nigga doesn't see peace. I don't think there was not one time where he was legitimately at peace. Besides the little pages here where they said he was cracking Eve. Like, bro, he doesn't even have that anymore. Bro, this is a terrible life.
It's the drone.
His brother tried to kill him too. Brother almost put him in a spliff. Just letting y'all know. Like, come on, bruh.
Not before he ominously instructs Mark to meet him at his house. Mark wastes no time rushing over to Eve, who Rex was making conversation with prior to interruption, showing off an upgraded suit at last. Villainy be damned, the fit is in fact kinda fire. Robot tries winning over Mark once again, asking for the same trust that he had given to Dinosaurus, and stating that he can make this world perfect, citing his time with the Flaxons as a previous time he had done so. However, Mark is pretty reasonably having none of it. Attempting to stop Rex from hurting Eve, he throws a punch at him, only to be stopped by the same frequencies once more, as Rex's armor, while also being pretty generally stronger, is essentially designed to be anti-Viltramite, as any blows to it will produce tones that are deadly to their kind. Having already—
That is insane. Yo, he built the craziest anti-Mark Grayson device of all time. Nigga, there's no way. Oh, he's cooked. Bro. Every punch creates that sound.
latched onto Eve's leg, he tears it off when Mark tries to power through his tones that are deadly to their kind. Having already latched onto Eve's leg, he tears it off when Mark tries to power through it.
Oh my god. He broke her leg. This nigga pulled off her leg. Yo, nah, Robot might be the cold. This suit is so cold too. He might be the coldest villain that we've seen so far. Oh my goodness. It's between him and Thrag. Bro.
His onslaught, stating that he knew the only real way to hurt him was through her. Eve deals with the drone, but not before he is able to set the house ablaze. The two of them flee, with Robot being dismayed that the Viltramites will get involved so soon into his plans. Even Mark makes it to the Viltramite ship, where Eve is hospitalized due to her terrible condition. But unfortunately, all across America, Rex's plans finally go into full force, as heroes and villains alike are slaughtered left and right, with none being spared, with his own teams, comrades, and friends being caught in the crossfire of Rex's perfect world. Only a couple of people are lucky enough to make it out alive for now. Aboard the Guardian's artificial moon, Rex is trying to coax Amanda into—
Oh my god, this nigga goes on a freaking cleanse. He kills everybody. Look at how many people he killed. This nigga kills everyone.
Comrades and friends being caught in the crossfire of Rex's perfect world. Only a couple of people are lucky enough to make it out alive for now. Aboard the Guardian's artificial moon, Rex is trying to coax Amanda into going along with his plans as he's currently committing them, with this only being realized due to an assassination attempt by Best Tiger. Rex finally drops at least a little bit of his facade when Amanda talks about what her son had said to her, restraining her and kissing her one last time before throwing her out of the airlock of the base, collapsing on the floor out of sadness as this has to be done for the greater good. Anissa rescues Monster Girl from space and the mayhem continues on Earth. After a little while, Mark and Eve's baby is delivered, and once Eve's surgery goes well, the couple gets to hold their baby together. The two of them acknowledge how fucked up the baby's life might become, and Eve goes to embrace Mark for the first time since he's gotten back, but he flinches, still reeling from not only the pain that Robot has inflicted emotionally, but also now what is a deep-seated trauma for him from Anissa. Monster Girl is also in surgery aboard the Viltramite ship, and Nolan gets word that one of Rex's drones is on the way to the Viltramite ship, so he goes to settle business. Rex pulls up to the moon and is immediately surrounded by Viltramites, but he tries to break the ice.
Yo, they got him in jumping formation.
Rex pulls up to the moon and is
Robot might clear these niggas. He looked too clean. I'm not gonna lie. Robot looked way too clean. He's gonna clear them so bad. He's gonna clear them so bad. I don't know, chat. He's gonna clear them so bad.
Ice by stating that he is relieved that Eve is alive and stable. He lays out his plans of world perfection in front of the group, stating that, though they may be in direct opposition to it, their goals of repopulation still require them to just stand by and let it happen. While talking of world peace, he's simultaneously continuing his conquest elsewhere. Hell, he's not even the one on the moon. His real body is having a meeting with the president. Back on the moon, Rex essentially proposes the very same truce that Thrag had made, with both sides deeming that a fight would be against their best interests, and the two end up deciding to work together for the sake of their own broader goals. Nolan has already agreed to keep the peace for now, only saying that if something changes, then they will react. But for now, he just wants to preserve Viltramite lives. A couple of the remaining heroes on Earth, and this fuck-ass dog, have a meeting to discuss what they can do in the future to oppose Rex. But little do they know, they've got a regular fucking Benedict Arnold here, as Bulletproof has sold them all out. So they are
What? Wow. Bulletproof, you a bum. Wow. A brother doing that is crazy. Wow, you're actually a freaking piece of doo-doo. Oh my gosh, F this nigga. Wow.
Has sold them all out. So they are arrested for the time being, as well as Monster Girl, who the Viltramites gave up to Rex. Mark pulls up to the Pentagon, with Rex inquiring, "Mark, can we please have a calm discussion?" After a rather long debate where Robot, despite being very clearly evil, proves that he has already started to change things behind the scenes in a way that is saving lives, starts urging Mark to accept the new, as in spite of his cold and calculated nature, he still doesn't want to kill Mark, telling him that what he does next will determine his future. With no other options, Mark concedes. The robot effectively wins. All the way back in Invincible.
Wow. Wow. Yo, robot might be like top 3. Wow. He is an incredible villain, bro. Oh my goodness. He is an incredible villain, gang. Wow.
No other options, Mark concedes. Robot effectively wins. All the way back in Invincible War, he decided to carry on Rex's name and legacy, but the Rex that stands before us now couldn't be any more different from the Rex that we lost. On a bit of a lighter note, Battle Beast finally arrives on Thraxa, where Thrag has taken refuge. Right as the two are about to engage in combat, Battle Beast's partner unleashes Ragnar's upon the arena, being ordered to ensure Thrag's demise above all else. Battle Beast, though, wants the fight to be even and accepts no such advantages, helping Thrag kill the beasts.
Fair.
When the dust is settled, Thrag has a pretty nasty wound on his stomach, so still accepting no advantages, Battle Beast wounds himself in the same spot, before the two start a battle that will take literal
Wow, nah, that's actually so hard. Shout out Battle Beast, bro. Battle Beast is about to fade. You harmed yourself, so it's even. You are about to fade. I'm not gonna lie, bro. You are about to fade. And then they start brawling. They start boxing. Oh, hold on.
advantages, Battle Beast wounds himself in the same spot, before the two start a battle that will take literal in-universe days to finish. All the while, Thrag's evil schemes are revealed, essentially using Thraxa as a way to assemble a Viltramite army as fast as can possibly be. Seeing the culmination of consequences, both good and bad, that have occurred in the wake of Rex's silent rule, Mark and Culpeel essentially.
Wait, so Thrag got his own breeding planet? Thrag got his own breeding planet? These are all his kids? This Nick Cannon ass nigga. Bro, hold on. This the bugs? So he's making a bunch of Olivers? Oh my days. Oh my day. Yo, Thrag is going insane. Bro, he just got this in the back. So he's making another army. When is he going to use this? To get out of exile? Let's find out.
Using Thraxa as a way to assemble a Viltramite army as fast as can possibly be. Seeing the culmination of consequences, both good and bad, that have occurred in the wake of Rex's silent rule, Mark and Eve decide to move off of Earth and to Telescria.
Zephfire taking notes, bro. Bro, me taking notes is crazy, bro. I don't know if Goonfire had to pick a country to have a breeding farm with, bro. I'd have to go what country got the tallest woman? I'm making like 10 LeBron James. If I was to pull a Thrag, I'm going to Latvia. They're saying everybody here be 5'6". I'm going right here. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm going right there. I'm cracking everything. So I'm making 15 LeBron James. I'm making a bunch of LeBron Jameses, bro. Latvia woman. Oh, this is a white country. I thought this was like not white. I don't know where I thought this was, but not white. Damn. They be that tall out there? The freak, fair, I guess.
Ain't no way. Needs to calls the immortal a bum one last time for the road, and the two of them depart for better places, deciding to name their daughter Terra, a little piece of their own Earth. They arrive on Telescria and greet their friends, including Oliver, who is noticeably older and finally not wearing that fuck ass outfit.
That nigga look like a freaking dork. That nigga looks like a freaking dork. Look at this ugly, bit ass, lame ass, goofy ass nigga, bro. He's a freaking dork. Look at this man, Oliver, bro. Get this man off my damn screen, bro. Nigga got the Golly G Batman haircut, bro. The 1960s Robin ass haircut, bro. This weak ass, Incredibles ass outfit, bro. Get this nigga up out my screen, bro. I'm not. She's saying Oliver? Like he ain't try to kill your mans. Not even 2 years ago, bro. Get this nigga off my screen, bro. This lame ass, dork ass, bit ass nigga, bro. Ain't no way, bro. Get this nigga up out of here, bro. Nah, I'm not messing with this, bro. Don't give him no full page spread, no happy pull up, bro. Nah, nigga. I ain't rocking with this at all, bro. Hell nah, yo, get Oliver up my screen right now. Before I get tight.
Possibly older and finally not wearing that fuck ass outfit. He honestly looks so much better.
He looks so much better. Are we looking at the same nigga? Bro, look at him. Look at this Jimmy Olsen happy-go-lucky ass nigga, bro. This sorry ass, sad ass Reed Richards looking ass nigga, bruh. I will keep frying this nigga till the day's over. I will keep frying. Every time he pull up, I'm frying him.
Oliver, who's noticeably older and finally not wearing that fuck ass outfit. He honestly looks so much better without the hair too. It's just a really good change in my opinion. Mark and Eve have dinner with Oliver and his cockroach girlfriend, maybe bug girlfriends just running the family. The two of them actually feel really romantic and try to get freaky, but Mark pushes himself away, still feeling uncomfortable with that sort of stuff from Anissa. He opens up to Eve about what happened, and though she is supportive, she doesn't really have a response right away. She goes to check on Tara, who isn't breathing, so they rush her to a doctor, but don't worry, she ends up being okay. Alan calls Mark in to ask if he would be comfortable being an investigator for him, to which he agrees, so long as he wouldn't be risking life or death. Mark and Eve
y'all are still cool with Alan after all that too? Y'all kind of moving kind of weird. Like, hey, I know you tried to kill me, well, we're cool, right? They're moving like Dragon Ball's the Z Fighters, bro.
Being an investigator for him, to which he agrees, so long as he wouldn't be risking life or death. Mark and Eve talk a little bit more about what happened with Anissa, and Eve is actually really supportive. Good shit, Invincible, you love to see it. Anyways, Alan walks in shortly after and kinda just immediately walks back on promising that Mark wouldn't be risking his life, as he asks if he'd be okay with finishing off Thrag should he survive his battle. Speaking of, several days after the fight began, Thrag eventually emerges victorious over Battle.
I gotta look up this panel too. I'm gonna let the video play. I'm gonna find this panel.
In a fight that was more or less even the entire time, and also was a fight that took place across the entire fucking planet. That's pretty awesome. Battle Beast's lover attempts to sacrifice herself too, but Space Racer knocks her out before fleeing from the planet, though their ship gets destroyed. Shortly after, Thrag flees from the—
God damn, that nigga got freaking motion. Look at that panel. This, yo, Invincible, I know niggas be complaining about your animation. You better, I don't care if you got a contract mapper. I don't care if you gotta get ufotable. I don't know what Japanese or Chinese animator you gotta get. You might have to get the Super Cube niggas. You better get the top of the line for this one. You gotta get, bro, the highest high tier animators for this fight, bro. I refuse to have this fight looking like a slideshow. Nah, this looks so raw. Nah, I refuse to have this fight looking like some basic ass Invincible, bro. No.
planet on a ship with all of his children, fashioning himself a coat made from Battle Beast after he recovers.
And that fit is so hard too.
Thrag flees from the planet on a ship with all of his children.
This fit is so hard too. With the Battle Beast as his fur coat, it's crazy. Look at all the bug shorties he got next to him too, all fitted out in bikini. Yo, this nigga a pimp. This man done pimped out an entire race. And you telling me this nigga don't got aura, bro? Yo, Thrag, I ain't gonna lie, Thrag might be that guy, twin. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Not even a little bit, bro. He might actually be that guy. I'm actually conflicted. I don't know who to pick. Either Robert, I keep saying Robert. I think Robot or Thrag, who the coldest villain so far. I might have to go Robot because he literally won. They have not touched Earth since. I might have to go Robot. He legitimately actually ran everybody off the Earth. He won. I might have to go Robot, bro. I might have to go Robot. But Thrag got way more aura. But Robot got aura too, bro. That black suit was so hard. Robot got aura too. He ran everybody off the planet. I don't even know when they're going to spin back. Are they going to spin back on Earth? Because Robot won. We'll go find out.
Himself a coat made from Battle Beast after he recovers from the battle. Mark and Oliver investigate Thraxa, but they find no trace of him. Space Racer and Thresha, Beast's lover, are rescued from being frozen in space, and Mark eventually just goes back home. We get a rather calmer episode of Freakvincible, and Mark wakes up before Eve, deciding to spend some quality time with Tara. And when Eve wakes up, they just spend a nice day together at the park. Well, relatively nice when you consider that it's an alien planet. Back on Earth, Bulletproof is continuing his L streak by selling out the Immortal and his family to Robot's regime. Though this seems to have been a part of the Immortal's plans, as he selling out the Immortal and his family to Robot's regime. Back on Earth, Bulletproof is continuing his—
Wow, Bulletproof, you are really a house Negro, bro. You really jicking and jiving and tap dancing for the higher ups, man. What's wrong with you, bro? You Uncle Tom, man, nigga, bro.
Streak by selling out the Immortal and his family to Robot's regime. Though this seems to have been a part of the Immortal's plans, as he detonates his restraints, disfiguring Bulletproof. He frees all of his friends at the cost of being bisected. Monster Girl teams up with her son, though there's an absolutely monstrous horde of robots. D.A. Sinclair, however, in a moment of extreme heroism, sends the Reanimant as reinforcements to the heroes, blowing his cover as a rebel.
Oh wow, he still has that? He still has the Reanimant? Damn.
Extreme heroism sends the Reanimant as reinforcements to the heroes, blowing his cover as a rebel. He helps them escape by activating the White Room technology throughout the Pentagon, before escaping in a rocket before he receives any punishment. The rebels regroup in hiding, and while they're debating the effectiveness of Rex's philosophy, the man of the hour steps into the room, and offers to take in any hero who wishes to switch sides, with about half of the group departing. Rex promises not to hunt those who didn't switch sides so long as they don't come after him first, stating that one way or another, they will all end up seeing his side. Back on Telescria, Mark and Oliver have been continuing their investigations as planned, doing mostly low-level crime fighting on the planet, and Mark and Eve are still becoming accustomed to alien life, some easier than others. Though Thrag has been moving throughout the galaxy, attempting to avoid Coalition attention, he has still been discovered, so Alan asks Mark and Oliver to go on a mission to take him down once and for all, stating that Space Racer is keeping tabs on him in the meantime, which I'm sure is going absolutely stellar.
Literally.
Mark tells Eve to spend the day out, as she has been getting sick of being home constantly, before deciding to spend the day with Tara. When Eve gets back, we get one last bit of Freak Invincible for the time being, before Mark bids her and Alan farewell, heading on their mission at last. Upon arriving on the planet—
Why just two? Okay, never mind. These are a bunch of ships. I was about to say, there's no way you're just sending Oliver and Mark to fight Thrag. You need to send the whole army. I hope these are all on Mark's side. Then you need the whole army for Thrag, bro. You need the entire army.
There is no sign of Thrag. It's like he was never there to begin with. The Coalition starts searching the planet, and during their investigations, Mark stumbles upon a cave, which he asks Oliver to inquire about. However, not being one for waiting for answers, he ventures into the cave before he can get an answer about it, being dragged deeper and deeper into the cave until he stumbles upon a radiant blue light in the form of some plant organism. The plant organism doesn't get explained, try not to get too hung up about it. He touches the light and gets enveloped by it, taking us back to—
Wait, what the fuck? What's going on? I'm scared!
I wasn't lying to you when I said that Mark shitting at the start of the series was an important plot point. We are now effectively at the start of the story again, kicking off the highly divisive reboot arc, which, spoilers, I kinda like it a lot. I get why—
Wait, he time travels? Y'all saying time reset. So he time travels back in time. Why?
Mark shitting at the start of the series was an important plot point. We are now effectively at the start of the story again, kicking off the highly divisive reboot arc.
Reboot arc? I have to see where this goes. I don't even have an opinion. What is this? I'm so confused.
Which
It's like a Ghost of Christmas Past thing where he's like, he realizes what he's done wrong, or we gonna have to wait this. I literally have no opinions. I don't know why this is why they decided to do that. Let's take a look.
Spoilers, I kind of like it a lot. I get why people don't, especially after the arc is over, but to each their own. Mark is naturally pretty concerned about starting his hero journey over, so he seeks the help of Eve, who kidnaps him and takes him to the Teen Team's headquarters. They interrogate him, but determine that he is legitimately from the future.
Oh, so this is like a new game plus. This is like a new game plus. So this is Invincible going new game plus.
Rudy warns him to save lives where he knows he can, but also tells him to be careful so as to not fuck up the future too much. He spends a couple of weeks speedrunning his hero career, preventing many of the life or death situations that he had gotten himself into during his first go. He tries to remain undetected by Nolan, but is discovered when he's stopping the Flaxon invasion. When he's talking to Nolan about his powers later, he actually gets him to open up about himself a pretty good amount. However, he tries to prevent Nolan's takeover attempt of Earth, which starts a bit of a fight between the two. Mark leads Nolan to the Guardian headquarters, and even with a head start, the Immortal gets fodderized, cause go figure. But it's—
Yo, even in New Game Plus, he loses. Yo, you actually a fraud, nigga. You are actually, yo, Immortal. If he was an actual important character, I'd give him a fraud trial. That nigga's actually garbage.
Nolan to the
Oh
Guardian
my god.
And even with a head start,
bro, that nigga's so sorry. How in New Game Plus you getting cooked to? Wow.
It's fodderized, cause go figure. But it's okay, because the actual cooler Guardians take care of him with some foresight from Invincible. After the fight,
fair.
he wins the favor of Cecil and talks with Nolan about his plans to take over the Earth, to which Nolan says that he was right about him, and his actual takeover attempt would have been an act that he would have regretted for the rest of his life, thanking Mark for stopping him. When Alan eventually shows up, Mark tells him of Nolan's existence, so Nolan leaves to join the Coalition. Mark continues superheroing with future knowledge, but misses Eve the whole time, basically having to be in the Sneeko chair because Eve is still with Rex at this point. In his room, he cries to himself, missing the life that he was ripped away from, when the plant organism appears once more before Mark, trying to get Mark to see the good that he has done with his new existence, to which Mark sort of agrees. However, the organism offers Mark two paths. One where he can stay in the past and correct the deaths of so many, or one where he can return to his original time. Mark chooses to return to his wife and daughter. The creature sends him back, proclaiming that he has doomed this new universe, before Mark appears at the bottom.
Wait, what? So he didn't even learn, so that the plant wasn't trying to give him a lesson?
Daughter. The creature sends him back.
Then you have doomed this
Claiming that he has
world.
doomed this new
You
universe.
are a disgrace. Nigga, what?
Before Mark appears at the bottom of the cave. He flies up.
I don't know, what is he? So he just realizes that he's a good person. I thought Marco would already know that. Let's see if this ends up like building up to something.
And finds the remains of the Coalition's warships, before deciding to return to Telescria. He finds Eve and tries to explain everything to her, and though she understands, something seems off. He asks to see Terra and is horrified to see that she is considerably older. In fact, 5 years passed during the couple of weeks he had spent.
Wow. I am literally never in my entire life. Now that I know this, I'm never taking anybody seriously that's trying to tell me that there's a worse superhero life than Invincible. You fell down a cave and lost 5 years of your daughter's life. She doesn't even know who you are. She says, "Are you my daddy?" Oh, wow. He didn't even gain anything through that reboot. He didn't get no powers. No, not like, I don't know how much that new perspective really mattered. We'll see later. Wow, nigga, they hold him so. That is, I don't even think I've seen Peter Parker get done that bad. I genuinely don't even think I've seen Peter Parker get done this bad, chat. It gets worse.
The alternate timeline, and reboot was kind of more or less just an excuse to have a time skip, which some people understandably don't care for that much, but I don't really mind. Oh, and the art style changes dramatically, like dramatically.
Damn, why? 1, 2. So they just didn't find Thrag throughout those 5 years either. Let's find out.
Which honestly, I prefer the old one, but this one isn't as bad as everybody says it is, and we have more pressing matters. Mark is effectively left to put his life back together. Alan is thrilled to see Mark and tries to have him rejoin the effort against Thrag, but Mark and Eve have already agreed that they just want to spend some time.
Damn, 5 years and they still ain't find that nigga. Are you kidding me?
Off-world. Before they get to do so, Mark catches up with Oliver, who has kids now and is basically just a mini Nolan in appearance. The two have a nice little moment of bonding, but it's clear how bizarre the situation is for Mark. They arrive at their new place and all seems well, but behind closed doors, Oliver is in contact with Thrag, going undercover for the Coalition, which I'm sure will end well.
Yo, bro, literally when they first showed Oliver again, when I was going on that rant and frying him, there was niggas in the YouTube chat saying chill on Oliver, bro. This nigga never ceases to amaze me. Bro, how garbage can a nigga get? Are you kidding me?
Oliver is in
Bro. Dude, Oliver, you are the worst character in this entire comic book franchise, bro. I might have to put the slander of him above Hawkeye. You might be my newest op. You might be my newest op, bro. I might have to put the slander of you 10 times higher than I ever did Hawkeye. Y'all thought Hawkeye was bad? I'm tearing this nigga a new one.
Contact with Thrag, going undercover for the Coalition, which I'm sure will end well. He reassures him that Mark may never get involved in whatever Thrag is planning. During the last 5 years, his Thraxan Viltramite army has had time to mature greatly, as they are basically set for an attack upon the Coalition. After taking over another Coalition planet, Thrag sets his sights on Mark, wanting to send a message and get revenge. While Mark is spending time with Terra, Alan attempts to quell an insurrection at the Coalition headquarters, but the offender attempts to take Alan out with him, turning him into curly mouthwashing or that one Baki panel, take your pick.
Yo, they did him like that Baki panel, bro. Nah.
out with him, turning him into curly mouthwashing or that one Baki panel, take your pick. On Earth, Nolan is working for Rex, helping him stop an attack by the technicians that had been...
Why is he working for Rex? Bro, what's going on with y'all? Why are we working for Rex?
Take your pick. On Earth, Nolan is working for Rex, helping him stop an attack by the technicians that had been set up like 90 chapters ago, which, by the way, we don't get to see, and I'm low-key kinda salty about. The gang visits Alan in the hospital, and Eve's weird alien ex tries being freaky, so Eve knocks him out. Alan recovers, and Mark sees his dad for the first time since he got back, along with Anissa, who most of them pretty reasonably crash out at. Speaking of, Anissa's previous assault was in fact unfortunately successful at producing a kid, who she names Marky because she just doesn't know subtlety, I guess. Later, Mark meets with Rex for the first time in a while, who, in spite of the recent technician war, has otherwise achieved magnificent results on paper in his goals of creating true world peace. Though Nolan and Mark disagree heavily about their opinions on him, so Mark, Eve, and Tara return to their new home. Oliver continues his...
Wow. So Rex really won. That nigga Rex actually just won.
Discord calls with Thrag, hoping to get to meet him in person, with Thrag himself continuing to train his army of children. After a training session, he sends his two favorite children to kill Mark. Thrag, seeing the opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, tells Oliver that he is going to kill Mark, tasking him with doing nothing to prove his loyalty to the new Viltramite Empire. The happy family is attacked suddenly by the duo, and during the fight, Tara realizes that she has her father's powers, but at a rather bad time, as Thrag himself decides to make an appearance, almost killing Tara.
Wow.
However, Oliver didn't listen to his task, and has arrived to the planet as well, attempting to take Thrag in a one-on-one battle, though this
Oh my goodness.
to his task, and has arrived to the planet as well, almost killing Tara. However, Oliver didn't listen to his task, and has arrived to the planet as well, attempting to take Thrag in a one-on-one battle.
Yeah, that nigga Oliver's so sorry, bro. That nigga Oliver's so sorry.
Though this unfortunately proves fatal for him. Mark pulls up with Thrag's kid's neck in his hands, asking for Tara's safety in exchange for his son's. Thrag tries to call his bluff, but Mark was in fact not bluffing. Thrag and his remaining...
Oh! Oh, we moving like that? Grayson? We moving like that, my nigga? Okay, hey, I ain't gonna lie, yo, he that nigga for that. Hey, hold on.
remaining child, Ursel, absolutely brutalized the couple before leaving them for dead as punishment for Viltram's destruction. Unfortunately for them though, after they depart, Eve gets full access to her powers again, being in a near-death scenario, fixing Tara's leg and restoring and upgrading the parents' bodies once more, though Oliver was far too gone to be saved. A funeral is held for Oliver, with a fight breaking out between Mark and Alan over whether or not Alan was responsible for his death. Though Eve breaks it up, as everybody involved in the fight basically just had a lot of pent-up grief that they needed to get out.
Hey, rip Bozo, bro. I do not care about that nigga, bro. Rip Bozo.
Mark and Eve set their resolve towards killing Thrag and ending things once and for all, but for real this time. Trying to take care of all of their business before they set their sights on the fight, Mark and Eve finally get married, which is pretty cool. Alan confesses to his lover that he kinda sorta absolutely was responsible for getting Oliver killed. On a different planet, Thrag finds Ursel hiding in a cave that her brother was fond of, and it's here that we get to see that there are already cracks in Thrag's philosophy of strength above all, as the both of them are struggling with love, even if Thrag is trying desperately to repress it. Alan confesses his sins to Mark and apologizes for getting Oliver killed, which goes about as well as one could hope. The coalition joins Mark and Eve's fight against Thrag's forces. Mark tries to recruit Nolan and the Viltramites, but Nolan is hesitant at first, feeling responsible for everything that has transpired, as he was the one who let Thrag go in the first place. But Mark urges him to do the right thing, and he agrees to join the fight. Mark and Eve don their original costumes for the first time in actual years.
Wow.
Well, I guess not really in Mark's case, but fuck you. Before leaving Tara and Debbie's care and heading for battle. At last, the forces are together, and Mark has a rather unconventional plan. He wants to lead Thrag to Earth. The group starts liberating planets conquered by Thrag one by one, with Space Racer being tasked with finding their central base. Meanwhile, Ursula seems to be building up resentment for Thrag after repeated instances of mistreatment towards her brothers and sisters. At last, they end up on a planet that Thrag himself is on, sending all of his progeny out Invincible. Though the actual coalition forces struggle with the sheer numbers, the Viltramites who are fighting the forces kinda no-diff them, with them apparently having the structural integrity of a paper straw. Ursula begs Thrag to consider how many of her siblings are dying, but he simply tells her that if she feels any sympathy for the dead, then she would be better off joining them. Our characters retreat, leading Thrag's army to Earth as planned. As their forces approach Earth,
Nolan calls upon the Viltramites on Earth to join the cause, and it seems that most, if not all of them, respond in spite of their family obligations. And in one of the hardest moves in all of Invincible, Alan stages the battlefield of this final battle to take place next to the sun, for the proposed sake of hiding their forces, but let's just be honest, it fucking looks cool. Thrag rides into battle atop some Ragnars.
That's actually mad hard. Them niggas fought on the surface of the sun?
And Rex
That's actually insane.
uses the absence of the Viltramite adults on Earth to seize the Viltramite children. He leaves Bulletproof in charge in the meantime, trying to help stop the imminent threat to Earth before it can reach the planet, though it means that he will be out of range to control any drones he has on Earth. Each side's forces meet, with Thrag throwing around Ragnars like weapons. His ropes are cut, and during a clash, Nolan attempts to take Thrag on one-on-one, correcting the mistake he made all those years ago.
He's gonna get cooked. Yeah, exactly. You tried to go one-on-one with Thrag. I'm not gonna lie, Omni Man, you're getting washed. You're getting washed, bro. Unless you was in the gym, you're getting washed.
Though Nolan's intentions are noble, Thrag simply far outclasses him physically, making rather light work of him, before making the move that decommissions Nolan from the fight, essentially Tojiing him. Mark sees this and blitzes through the crowd that he was previously occupied with, engaging Thrag just as Rex arrives to the battle, who pulls up in this absolute behemoth of a suit. Eve collects Nolan in hopes of saving his life, but Anissa sees that she is in danger and takes what could be a lethal blow for her. She tries to make the sacrifice play, attempting to have Eve apologize to Mark for her, as her time on Earth has vastly changed her for the better, it seems. During Mark and Thrag's fight, he starts using his children as expendable projectiles, but Mark tackles Thrag towards the sun. Ursal, having witnessed the sacrifices that the Viltramites have made for each other, as well as her father's callous behavior towards her siblings, decides to call on her siblings to surrender, as she recognizes that Thrag no longer fights for the interests of them, but rather only out of his own selfish intent. Back with Mark and Thrag, the two of them fight their hardest even as the sun starts to burn up their very clothing. Mark asks why Thrag even fights now, as he had previously declared the Viltramite Empire dead, to which Thrag responds that he is here to take revenge. For the very people he spent his life working towards finding were also the ones who obliterated his home planet. He attempts to continue, but the two of them are blasted by a solar flare. Thrag attempts to flee the sun in order to end the lives of Mark's allies, but Mark drags him back down, intent on ending him no matter the cost to himself. Thrag hurls him to the surface of the sun.
This is gonna be so cold. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so raw. This is gonna be so cold, bro.
But he flies back,
oh
being scorched,
my
but still full of fight.
goodness.
He grabs Thrag and dives below the surface of the sun, with both men emerging badly burned, and no longer able to communicate due to their transmitters being fried. Mark realizes right here and now, though, that he has already won. He knows that Thrag, a man who is fighting simply for revenge, is fighting for nothing, as Mark is fighting for the sake of not only his family and his people, but also Thrag's family and people, as he wants all of them to live peacefully. Nolan's exiling of Thrag may have appeared to be a mistake, but that exact move showed what their people could be. Thrag was so focused on strength at the cost of everything else that he never even saw the other Viltramite's potential. As he is thinking to himself, Robot sends Mark a suit of armor to give him just the extra bit of time that he may need against Thrag. Because Thrag committed to fighting only for himself, not only does he not have anybody who is willing to help him in his darkest hour, but Mark is being helped by what can be considered to be his greatest enemy. Thrag's archaic ways pushed his people to the brink of extinction, and Mark, who he deemed to be weak for his compassion, has even his most bitter of enemies on his side when he needs it. His suit of armor melts around him as he continues to pummel Thrag, and to finish him off, he pins him to the surface of the sun, finally ending the tyrant's reign of terror. Mark accepts that he will probably die here as well, but Alan comes to his rescue as Thrag is cremated alive. Mark is immediately put into intensive care for the wounds he received on the sun. Alan pardons Ursal from her imprisonment, as she had a large part in the end of this war. Debbie and Tara depart for Earth upon learning of Nolan's condition, and after presumably a couple of days pass, Mark is well enough to move around the ship and goes to see Nolan, who is in a rather sorry state. Nolan welcomes him in, with the two of them realizing that he is going to die. Nolan requests that Mark takes over as the leader of the Viltramites, and though Mark initially doesn't want to, Nolan tells him that he could build an incredible world for his daughter, stating that it has to be him who is in charge, as it was his compassion that changed him for the better, and it's through said compassion that he can change the rest of the Viltramites for the better too. Mark tries to plead with him, but it's too late. Nolan passes peacefully in his son's presence, with Debbie and Tara arriving shortly after. A little bit later, Mark is more adequately healed and goes to be around Tara, talking to her in her sleep similarly to how he did when she was just born. Just as he's about to wake her, Eve alerts him of Rex's presence as he forms a blockade preventing the Viltramite ship from reaching Earth. Rex, ever the proactive one, informs Mark of the fact that he's intending to use the Viltramite's children to turn his own army against him, so Mark flies down to Earth himself to recruit some help. While he's busy doing so, Rex broadcasts the same information to the Viltramites aboard the ship,
and fearing the safety of their own children, they unfortunately start to comply. In the meantime, Eve recruits Ursula and her siblings to help get them to Earth. Mark recruits the Immortal as well as the remaining heroes on the planet to the cause, and hey, Tech Jacket's here. The two armies meet at the Pentagon, and though the manipulated Viltramites attempt to get their children back through Mark, he simply auras them off and tells them to play along with his plans. Using Tech Jacket as a battering ram, they breach the building, working their way closer and closer to the Viltramite children. When the heroes are surrounded, Rex accidentally reveals his position to Monster Girl, who promptly points him out. Mark wastes no time singling him out and taking him well outside of Earth's orbit faster than his drones can catch up, leaving him effectively stranded. Though Mark brought Robot all the way up here to kill him, he hesitates still, even after all this time. As much as it may be painful to acknowledge, he can't deny just how much of a difference Robot has made in the world, though he is simply far too evil to consider going about things in a way that doesn't leave him in control of every variable. Deep down, Rex is right, but he recognizes that Mark is trying to find a way to keep all the good that he has done while also losing the bad he could do, with Mark seemingly figuring out just that, punching a hole through him, ending his chokehold on Earth.
Wow.
Back at the Pentagon, Mark brings the Immortal in
That
for a
is so
proposal
raw.
to lead the Earth in his absence, keeping the people's best interests in mind and maintaining the peace that Rex established. But having seen how badly this could go with something like King Immortal, and considering the Immortal's overall well-being, he has set aside Rex's brain, all of his ideas, all of his plans, all the good that he wants to do in one location. But it all has to go through the filter that is the Immortal, only allowing Rex to send out verbal commands, effectively cutting him off from any of his drones just in case there are any still hidden. Seeing the help that he will have, the Immortal agrees to this plan, presumably more enthusiastically than his future variant. And Mark
The only time Immortal's useful. Hey, that's golden. So he becomes the new king? Hold on.
Mark's induction ceremony, every Viltramite alive, whether it be those who lived under Nolan or Thrag, bows their head to their new emperor out of respect. Mark meets his mom at Nolan's grave, but this time it's one that is dedicated to him entirely, not the one that Cecil had made in his absence all the way back when. They talk a bit about how much time has flown by, and no matter how much has changed, Debbie knows that Nolan would be proud of him. Mark talks with Alan before he departs to Telescria, stating that though he sees the good in what came of it, the relationship will never be the same as a result of Alan's role in Oliver's death, which Alan understands and accepts. Mark reassures Alan that so long as their goals align and it doesn't endanger the Viltramites, he will still always come to the aid of the coalition of planets. While talking
Hey, I don't know. I really don't know for real. Like, Alan, bro. Like, I understand Oliver died, and like now y'all's relationship is like broken. But like, that relationship would have been broken since you tried to boom the entire planet with Mark on it. I don't know, bro.
The future, Mark receives a call from the Immortal, who informs him that Marky, Anissa's son, is in trouble. Mark goes to meet the boy, informing him that he's his father, which makes him faint, but it's okay, cause Eve's got him. Meanwhile, on the ground level, the Maulers have devoted themselves to good, surprising Invincible. Mark reconvenes with Marky later, and gives him a crash course on the history of Viltramites, as well as his own path to becoming the Emperor. He apologizes for having not been there for him, telling him that this isn't a goodbye, as he will be coming back to Earth from time to time, which the kid barely understands at this point. After a goodbye from his mom and some reassurance that Marky will be okay, he departs from Earth with the other Viltramites, as he feels it would be better to avoid the potential world-changing consequences that having a bunch of young Viltramites on Earth would bring, intent on bettering the universe with the help of the Viltram Empire. Fast forward a couple of years, and Debbie takes Marky to meet Art, gifting him a costume that is very similar to the one his dad wore, before he does a little crime stopping of his own. During this heroic moment, we learn that Darkwing 2 is fucking alive somehow, as I guess he survived his encounter with that alternate Invincible during the Invincible War. Marky then goes to visit Nolan's grave in what is a rather nice moment. Levy's son arrives in Mark's home universe because better late than never, I guess. Rex tries to talk with Amanda as he is extremely lonely, but at this point, she just tells him that he is living in the world that he wanted and that it's on him to deal with it. Over the coming years, we get a montage of Terra growing up, complete with proof that Mark kept good on his word and came back to Earth from time to time. Terra eventually becomes a planetary superhero, sporting an outfit similar to her father's original one. Even more time later, a noticeably aged Mark addresses his people about why he has chosen not to adorn his face with a mustache, stating that he associates it with the old ways of Viltram, and that his clean face is a way to honor the newfound peace that Viltram has adopted. Alan later starts a war with Mark over the fact that he is simply too good at peace, and it's making the coalition of planets dissolve. But when all is said and done,
What? Yo, niggas just be mad about anything. I'm gonna cause a war with you because you're too good at making life good. What is actually, yo, Alan, yo, you fall off after season 3, huh? You are a bum. You just completely fall off a cliff. What is wrong with you, my nigga?
is simply too good at peace, and it's making the coalition of
Hey, bro,
planets.
how does that sentence even make sense? You are too good at peace. Bro, you're actually a fraud, bro. You're actually a fraud. He took Alan's job. Nigga, isn't Alan's job... Like, if you are a superhero, your job is... Like, you don't want your job to be forever. Do you want to fight villains forever? Do you want to save people's lives from dying forever? You want criminals to be around forever? Nigga.
Dissolve. But when all is said and done,
Elman's
Mark
Alan.
comes out on top, promising to continue changing things for the better, as the coalition had seemingly become parasitic near its end, though Mark still seemingly has some friendly rapport with Alan. Tara sat out on the war, viewing it as wrong, which has caused some tension between her and her father, but none of that matters right now as Eve has neared the end of her life. However, with her loved ones gathered, her body reforms itself once again, making her effectively immortal, which is pretty cool. We get a little montage of the Viltram Empire doing good for the universe, except those outfits are a little interesting looking, but whatever. Later, Marky confronts his dad about leaving Earth for good, to which he apologizes for and accepts, offering to make up for the time they missed together. At last, half a millennia after he left Earth, we see Mark and Eve standing together at their home, with Tara relaxing nearby. Eve points out that Mark has done it. He accomplished everything his dad asked of him, turning the Viltramites into an unwavering force for good. Mark closes out the series by saying, "I've been thinking a lot about the past lately, and one thing keeps coming back up. There's so many things that remind me of something my father once said to me. It was during our big fight. He looked down at me and said, 'What will you have after 500 years?'" And with that, we have the end of Invincible.
Callback.
Was it all?
Hey, that is actually fire. This would take like 7 years to get done. That is so much. Dude, we started this video. We were at 33 minutes. There is so much that needs to get done. How? Because it started 2021. We're getting a season per year now, right? So I'd say like season 4 would be up to like, I don't know, here. Let's say like, so 3 seasons. So divided by 10 minutes, there's an hour left. We have 6 seasons left. This is not finishing until 2032. Bro, how old would I be at 2032, my nigga? I'm gonna be 28. Jesus Christ, bro. 28 is crazy. Will I still even be doing YouTube? Let's find. I don't even know, bro. 28 is absurd. The plan is 7 seasons, but he wants to do 8 or 9. God damn, 2032, bro. Absurd. That was incredible, though. I'm not gonna lie. This might be my favorite timeline that we've watched.
Safety next.
I'm not gonna lie. I got it over Ben 10. I got it over FNAF. I got it over Ninjago. This might be my favorite one that we've seen.
They arrive on Teleport.
This might be my favorite timeline that we've seen so far. I can't lie. Somebody dropped a $5 dono. I completely missed that bid. Yo, that's so my bad. Ironic. In the end, Mark had everything but his dad with him. Gil got fresh with the $5 dono. I appreciate you, bro. That is true. That is actually true. That is quite ironic, bro. But nah, that was fire. There was a lot of good twists. There was a lot of very shocking things here as well. So many villains coming out of nowhere. Great villains, great fights, great plot developments. And like, this is a truncated version. I'd imagine if I read the comic or if I seen it, it'd be much better than this. And I really enjoy what they got going on here. I can't wait for this to get animated. I'll definitely read this at some point. This is wow, bro. That was elite, bro. Like, comment, subscribe, y'all. I'm out of here.